Chapter 1131. Sima Yue took out the scroll, and saw that there were fewer people on it. Are the Zhongzheng clansmen still alive? Little Seven asked. When we left the island, the old ape said that they were all gone. Sima Yue said. You were in the cabin then, so you didn't know. Oh, they're already dead. They didn't have time to wait for us to take revenge. Little Seven sighed in disappointment. You still like to fight so much even with Qingyi. Why? Can't Qingyi control you? Han Miaoshuang teased. You're still so talkative even with senior brother. Why can't senior brother control you? Little Seven immediately retorted. Han Miaoshuang was stunned. How did this guy react so quickly? She didn't think that she would get herself into trouble just because she wanted to tease her. Little Seven saw Han Miaoshuang's reaction. As if she had won a battle, she went to Sima Yue and asked, Yu, where are we going now? Use your little nose to smell. Is there any treasure in front? Sima Yue said. No. I'm not a dog. Little Seven snorted. Your attributes are similar to that. Sima Yue smiled and said, so come on, try it. Annoying. I'm ignoring you. Little Seven ran to Qingyi's side and ignored her. Haha. Everyone laughed, even if she looked like she had grown up. Her personality was still the same. Sima Yue turned her gaze to Little Dream and said, Little Dream, let's go to a crowded place and see if we'll meet the devil clansmen. If you have enemies, we'll take revenge for you. Little Dream's body trembled. She thought of the past. She nodded. If she met those people, she wouldn't be merciful. Sima Yue looked at the scroll and found a place with the most dots. She got Chongming to bring everyone there. They flew for many days and didn't meet anyone, but they saw many corpses. They died very tragically, seems to be done by the devil clan. There's still some devil aura lingering on them. They concluded after checking the corpses. Little Dream looked at the corpses and was stunned. Little Meng, what's wrong? Huahua tugged at her clothes. Little Meng flew to the side of the corpses and sniffed carefully, saying, This is the aura of the Demon Wolf clan. The Demon Wolf race was one of those races back then? Little Seven asked. Yes. They were the ones who experimented on me the most. I will never forget their smell. Xiao Ming clenched her fists, her body trembling from restraint. Sima Yue came to her side and hugged her. She stroked her hair and said, It's okay now. Since those people are here, then let's find them and take revenge for you. Little Seven said. That's right. Little Dream, can you sense where they are? Han Miaoshuang asked. Xiao Ming got out of Sima Yue's arms and shook her head. Let me try. Sima Yue took out a scroll and used her spirit energy to sweep away the devil aura on those people's wounds. A few faint dots appeared on the scroll. This scroll can be used like that. Han Miaoshuang said in shock. Such a good treasure. Junior sister, where did you get this? Senior brotherling, you gave it to me. Sima Yue said. As the holy son of the Sage Pavilion and the former Demon King, it wasn't strange for him to have this. In the northwest direction, Little Seven came over and looked at the faint black dots, saying, Yu, let's go over now. Sima Yue looked at the many dots around them and said, There are more people there than other places, and they are very concentrated. It seems that there might be some treasure there. Su Xiaoming said. Sima Yue kept the scroll and said, Since that's the case, let's go take a look. Chongming flew them for a few days before they slowly got close to that place. For safety reasons, Sima Yue released many scarlet bees and got them to scout for information. Very quickly, the scarlet bees sent back news that there were many people gathered there, but they weren't looking for treasure, but for a confrontation. Confrontation? Everyone was shocked by this news. Every minute and every second in the immortal land was precious. These people didn't use it to look for opportunities, but used it to confront others? But because there were very strong people there, the scarlet bees couldn't get close, so they didn't know what was going on there. Let's go over and take a look. In order to narrow down the target, the group got off Chongming and walked over. Chongming transformed into his human form and followed. What a dense devil aura. There's also the aura of the ghost clan. Qingyi said. Could it be a war between the three clans? Little Seven's eyes lit up. She had always been interested in such things. The bees in front didn't dare to get close, so we don't know what's going on. Everyone be careful, Sima Yue said. That little 7, bring Qingyi into the spirit pagoda. Qingyi wasn't an ordinary person after all. If he was seen by someone strong, it would bring trouble to Yue. She was alone in Heartbreak Valley and wasn't around. If something happened, it would be troublesome. Okay, Qingyi, let's go in, little 7 said. Qingyi wasn't interested in these things and followed little 7 into the spirit pagoda. Sima Yue and the others walked forward slowly. They went over the call in front and saw that there were people everywhere. The call and the valley were densely packed with people, and on the call in the distance, there were also people, but they were all from the Devil clan. On the other side, the Ghost clan had taken over many mountains. Human, Devil, and Ghost clan were in a triangular confrontation. The strong people felt that they were coming and turned back to take a look. Seeing that it was a few people with average strength, they didn't take it to heart. Sima Yue and the others came to the call in the distance. The terrain here was higher, and they could see the situation below clearly. But because they had their backs to most people, only the Ghost clan opposite them could see them. When they saw Sima Yue's face, the people opposite them were stunned. Is that the princess? Impossible, that's obviously a human. Deja saw Sima Yue and his body shook. Ghost Master, is that her? Why did she look so familiar? Ghost Master looked at Sima Yue. She really looked like the Dark Princess when she was dressed as a female. It's her. There's a mark left on her body, but it's being suppressed by something, so it's not easy to feel. Ghost Master, why does she look so familiar? Deja looked at Sima Yue in female clothes and felt that there was something familiar between her eyebrows. I heard that when the Dark Princess went to the human world, she fell in love with a human. She even pledged to marry him and gave birth to a child. Chapter 1132. Deja was stunned. You're not saying that she's my cousin, are you? He looked at Sima Yue. When he thought of this possibility, he could not accept it. This fellow had killed many of his ghost soldiers back then, and he had always wanted to take revenge on her. Ghost Master, could it be that you've got the wrong person? No, the Ghost Master said with certainty. He looked at Sima Yue. Even though they were so far apart, even though the ghost aura in her body was suppressed, he could still smell the unique scent on Yue's body. Yukaluo. Master, why are you so sure? Deja felt even more depressed. The Ghost Master always had a sense of propriety. If he wasn't sure, he wouldn't have said it with such certainty. However, that was his cousin. He felt that he had to digest this news properly. If it was any other cousin, he would have killed her. The king would not blame him, and no one would dare to cause trouble for him. But this was his aunt's woman. He couldn't do it. He must have owed her in his previous life, which was why he was being bullied by her in this life. Sima Yue noticed that Deja's gaze slowly changed from anger and hatred to shock and helplessness. In the end, he looked as if he had been bullied by her. She was very confused. She should be the one who was angry, right? Wasn't she the one who was being bullied? The last time he saw them, he was almost killed. How could she still look at him like that? Where was his face? However, was this guy crazy? Why was she looking at him like that? Could it be? Her heart suddenly skipped a beat. Could it be that this fellow had seen through her identity as a ghost? That wasn't right either. The way he looked at her was as if he was looking at an acquaintance. Furthermore, it was as if he was looking at a relative. F***ck, could it be? Sima Yue was shocked by her own thoughts. If he was really related to that guy, wouldn't he be depressed to death? No way, it shouldn't be that tragic, right? However, the way Deja looked at her made her more and more certain of her thoughts. However, Sima Yue recalled what Lin said before she came in. The 100 Ghosts banner must be in her hands. Wasn't this 100 Ghost streamer Deja's treasure? If he snatched it away, would he be so angry that he would vomit blood? Thinking about how he had almost died last time, it was fine to make him vomit blood. Little junior sister, who is that person? You look at me strangely, Han Miaoshuang said. An enemy, Sima Yue said. Deja almost vomited blood when he saw Sima Yue's mouth. What enemy? He was her family. Family. This girl, After we meet, I will definitely teach her a lesson. Master, is she really your cousin? A guard behind Deja asked. That's right. Master, she can't really be my cousin, right? Deja also hoped to hear a different answer. She's obviously a human. She doesn't have any ghost clan's aura at all. The ghost master seemed to have just recovered from his memories. He glanced at them and said, the last time when I branded her, I triggered the ghost clan's aura in her body. At that time, I knew that one of her parents must be from the ghost clan. However, we left too quickly, so I didn't feel whose aura was in her body. At that time, I thought she wouldn't live for long. I didn't expect to see her again and feel a familiar aura. It's really her. He couldn't tell if it was surprise or sadness. However, no matter what it was, in Deja's ears it was a joke. If it's any other cousin, Master, you can ignore it. However, this is the Dark Princess child. You stop talking. Deja turned around and glared at that person. The Dark Princess child. What a sad sentence. Yu Kalua was only a few years older than him, and the two of them had a very good relationship. In the past, when his talent had not been activated and he was looked down upon by others, she was the only one who accompanied him, encouraged him, and helped him start another life. He once said that he could betray the D family, the royal family, the entire ghost clan, and even the world, but he would never betray her. As long as it was something she wanted, he would definitely give it to her. Even this 100 ghost banner was because he heard that it could save her, so he spent a lot of effort to find it. If he knew that she had a child, he didn't know how happy he would be. However, the prerequisite was that it wasn't that person in front of him. When he thought about how he had sent people to kill her daughter, and how her daughter had killed so many of his ghost soldiers, he wanted to curse. No matter how unhappy he was, no matter how conflicted he was, he couldn't change this matter. The only thing he could do now was to accept it. In view of what had happened before, he felt that it would be difficult for them to get along peacefully. Sima Yue watched as Deja's expression changed again and again. She didn't know what he was thinking. However, it didn't matter what he was thinking. What she needed to do now was to snatch the 100 ghost banner. If she hadn't met him, it would have been fine. Now that she met him, she wouldn't let go of this opportunity. What are these people in a deadlock for? Su Xiaoxiao looked at the three parties below and asked. I don't know. There seems to be a group of people below discussing something. The people above are waiting for the results? Han Miao Shuang said. Let's wait and see. Sima Yue said. Little Dream, have you seen the Devil Wolf clan? Little Seven nodded and looked behind the Devil clan. Sima Yue followed her gaze and saw a few hundred people with wolf heads embroidered on their clothes. Those are the Devil Wolf clan? I don't know the others, but I know the leader. Little Dream looked at the person in the middle. When they experimented on me, he was still a young wolf. However, his position in the clan wasn't low, so he often came to watch. I remember that he even helped them with a knife. Those damn devil wolves. I want to eat them all. Huahua looked at those people hatefully. We won't let them go, Sima Yue said. But they have a lot of people. If it's just the few of us, I'm afraid it won't work, Su Xiaoxiao said. Don't worry. It's still early to get out. We'll think of a way, Sima Yue said. Sometimes you don't have to have a lot of people. As long as you have the right time and the right people, it's not impossible to fight with fewer people. You're talking about the time at the Xisha mountain range. You used an array to exterminate the Zhongzheng clan in Huayang Palace? Han Miao Shuang asked. Sima Yu curled her lips into a smile, silently agreeing with her words. Array formations, that's a really good thing. They've come to a conclusion, Su Xiaoxiao said. Everyone looked over and saw that the group of people who were gathered together had dispersed and retreated. Chapter 1133. It was only then that Sima Yu noticed that the three people who were chatting below were all very powerful. The humans, demons, and ghosts are all at the paragon level. Huahua said. What's going on? Why would the elders of the three clans come out? Su Xiaoxiao frowned. Sima Yu's expression was solemn as well. It was definitely not an ordinary matter for the three tribes to gather for a discussion. Who is that human? If I'm not wrong, That's someone from the Sage Pavilion, Su Xiao said. Someone from the Sage Pavilion? Sima Yue was stunned. If Wu Lingyu woke up, he should be able to recognize this person. Deputy Pavilion Master. When Yu Chengbi saw the Deputy Pavilion Master return, he hurriedly went up to greet him. Sage Pavilion's Vice Pavilion Master Tang Yun. Even if Wu Lingyu was awake, he would be surprised to see him. This was because among the many Vice Pavilion Masters and Elders of the Sage Pavilion, Tang Yun, who was the youngest, rarely came out. He didn't expect to come to the Immortal Land this time. Tang Yun looked as gentle as jade. He was dressed in white and looked as holy as he was. His long black hair was casually draped behind his back, making him look like an immortal. Let's go back, Tang Yun said to the people from the Sage Pavilion. When the Sage Pavilion's people returned to their original positions, the other powers then surrounded them. Vice Pavilion Master, what's the result of the discussion? Tang Yun waved his hand, indicating for everyone to calm down. After everyone quieted down, he said, our final conclusion is that the humans, devils, and devils will all go in together. Enter at the same time? That won't do. We disagree. How can we be with the devil race and the ghost race? That's right. Seeing those people become so agitated, Tang Yun was not in a hurry to explain. Vice Pavilion Master, we asked you to negotiate because we respect you. We didn't ask you to show weakness to the devil race and ghost race. Tang Yun raised his eyebrows and said, so you're saying that you have the confidence to completely annihilate the devil clan and ghost clan? Everyone was silent. None of them had the confidence to say that they could kill everyone from the other two clans. Or should I say, you have the confidence to make the devil clan or ghost clan cooperate with you to deal with the other clan? Tang Yun said. Everyone fell silent again. They were still not sure about this. What a joke. They had always been enemies with the ghost race and the devil race. How could they possibly cooperate with them to deal with another race? If they worked together, they would be able to deal with the humans. After all, the ghost clan and the devil clan would occasionally interact with each other. Tang Yun saw that they were silent and said, all of you aren't talking? Wasn't everyone talking excitedly just now? Now you're not going to say anything. Everyone lowered their heads, not daring to look him in the eye. Since you can't kill the devil clan and the ghost clan, and you can't kill the other group that cooperated with them, then tell me, should we give up on this place or go in with them? It seemed that this was the only way. The immortal realm is different from the continent. Here, the devil race and ghost race are equal in strength. Don't always think that this is the world that we inform. Yu Chengbai said. In the continent outside, in the blood tunnel, there were many humans and they were strong. Naturally, they wouldn't care about the ghost clan and the devil clan. However, it was different here. They could enter as many people as the humans could enter. They could enter as many people as the human lord could send in. In this place, they had no advantage, so they had to keep their sense of superiority. Sima Yue looked at Tang Yun. Everyone was very excited just now. If they weren't careful, something could have happened, and the Sage Pavilion would become the target of public criticism. However, he only needed to ask 2 questions to solve this problem. This person is powerful. The highest realm of battle was to subdue the enemy without fighting. His 2 sentences made everyone fall silent. This was even higher than that. Tang Yun, the youngest Vice Pavilion Master of the Sage Pavilion, the youngest Paragon rank expert. If he can't even settle such a small matter, his reputation would be undeserved. Jiang Junxian opened his eyes and said slowly, he's Tang Yun. Han Miaoshuang and Su Xiaoxiao were surprised. They had only heard of his name, but they had never seen him before. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. It seemed that they knew this person. The youngest Vice Pavilion Master, the youngest Paragon rank expert. She had developed quite a bit of interest in him. But they still didn't know what was going on here. The Ghost Clan and the Devil Clan's reaction was similar to the humans. At first, they were against cooperating with the other 2 clans. But just like the humans, the Devil Clan and the nobles had the same concerns. Without absolute certainty, they couldn't take the risk. So everyone temporarily decided to search for treasures together. Although they were unwilling, they had to agree. After talking so much, You still haven't said what it is. Han Miaoshuang said. It's nothing more than finding a treasure place. The 3 clans found it at the same time, and decided to go in together. Jiang Junxian said lazily. This possibility is very high. Sima Yue said. We just don't know where it is. You. A slightly familiar voice was heard. Sima Yue turned her head to look. It was the baby-faced girl Zhoulan that she met at Bright Red Mountain Peak. Zhoulan, you're here too? She was surprised and happy to see Zhoulan. Everyone went through thick and thin together at Bright Red Mountain Peak. It's really you. Zhoulan jumped up and looked at Sima Yue in surprise. I didn't dare to recognize you when I saw you in female clothes. I didn't expect it to be you. We heard that the Vice Valley Lord of Heartbreak Valley is a female with the same name as you. We thought it was just a name. Zhoulan said. So when we saw you just now, we didn't dare to recognize you. In the end, everyone made a bet. I lost, so I came to ask if it was you. If it was, they would come over. If it wasn't, they wouldn't come over to embarrass themselves. This group of bad people. Their original words were, if you want to embarrass yourself, you can do it alone. So the others are here too? Sima Yue asked. They're all here. They're below. I'll ask them to come up. Zhoulan turned her head and waved at the sect she was in. The others immediately ran over. Heroic Sword Sect wasn't far from here, so they arrived quickly. Qi Wei ran the fastest. He came in front of Sima Yu and danced with his hands and feet. He circled around Sima Yu a few times. His face was filled with all kinds of expressions. He was so excited that he couldn't speak. After a while, he said something with a sobbing tone. Boss, you're actually a girl? Chapter 1134. PFFF. Qi Wei's expression made everyone burst out laughing. If you continue to give me that expression, don't call me boss anymore, Sima Yue said with a dark face. Alright boss. Qi Wei tried his best not to dwell on the fact that Sima Yue was a girl. Little junior sister these are? Han Miaoshuang looked at these people in confusion. Let me introduce you. This is Blue Blade, Qi Wei, Zhoulan Yuqing, and Xian Minglang. They are the friends I told you about in Bright Red Mountain Peak. Sima Yue introduced Blue Blade and the others, then pointed to Han Miaoshuang and the others saying, This is my senior sister Han Miaoshuang, senior brothers Jiang Junxian and Su Xiaoxiao. I've heard about the Bright Red Mountain Peak from little junior sister many times. I didn't expect to meet you here. Thank you for taking care of junior sister at that time. Han Miaoshuang said. Miss Han is too polite. Back then, it was you who took care of us. If it wasn't for her, we would have died in Red Mountain Peak. Blue Blade said. What Miss Han or Miss Han, you can just call me Miaoshuang. Han Miaoshuang said. All right. Just call us by our names. Blue Blade nodded. So, Heartbreak Valley was really built by you guys? Xian Minglang looked at Sima Yue. You are the Deputy Valley Lord. Yes. Sima Yue nodded. I heard that Lord Lin spent a long time alone with you? Is it true that he asked you to take care of the divinators? It's not that exaggerated. He only said that I'll take care of his disciple in the future. Sima Yue said, but that's just because he thought too highly of me. No matter what, you are different in other people's hearts. Sima Yue did not want to continue the topic and asked, How long have you been here? Do you know what happened? Why are the Devil Clan and the Ghost Clan here? What did Tang Yin mean by going in together? We came half a day earlier than you, but we've already found out what happened here. Zhoulan said. Do you see that empty valley below? Sima Yue nodded. Previously, they had noticed that there were people everywhere except for the valley. It said that someone went in and discovered that it was a relic of a real celestial emperor. What happened on the small island was just a cover. Back then, the great emperor had actually lived here before. They also said that this is the mausoleum of that great emperor. Zhoulan said. No matter what it is, the person who came out obtained a treasure inside. Then the news spread out, and the surrounding people, devils, and demons all rushed over. Then why are we waiting here? Han Miaoshuang asked. Because everyone arrived around the same time. The human race claimed that it was a human sovereign emperor. The devil race claimed that it was a devil sovereign emperor, and that only they could enter. The ghost race claimed that it was a ghost sovereign emperor, and that only the ghost race could enter. That's why the three clans are stuck here, Blue Blade explained. It doesn't matter if it's the Imperial Emperor ruins or the tomb. With so many people entering, I'm afraid there won't be enough to go around, Su Xiao said. Sima Yue nodded in agreement. Also, was the small island really just a cover? Not necessarily. If it was just a cover, then how did Xianqiu he obtain the inheritance of the emperor? Could it be that the emperor would place the inheritance in a cover that he set up, and not in his real residence? This was too impossible. Also, if this happened to someone else, as long as they found the treasure, they would want to hide the place and not let anyone know. How could it be that everyone knew about it? So it was highly possible that this place was just a cover. And a cover actually attracted so many people over. The person who found the treasure and leaked the news at the beginning had a very suspicious motive. She thought of this point, and so did Han Miaoshuang and the others. Their expressions were solemn. Why do you all have such expressions? Qi Wei saw that Sima Yue and the others knew that this place was a relic. Not only was he not happy, he even frowned and asked curiously, "Do you really think that the relic on the island is a cover and this is the real relic?" Sima Yue asked Blue Blade and the others. Blue Blade and the others were very sure before, but seeing Sima Yue's expression, they were a little uncertain. That's what everyone said. The one on the island said that it was the Emperor ruins, but everyone went in and didn't get any treasures, so they all felt that they were cheated. And when the Emperor's treasure appeared here, everyone believed it. Before you asked this question, I thought so too, Blue Blade said. Why is there a problem? There is indeed a problem, Sima Yue said. Do you all know that Xianqiu he obtained the Emperor's inheritance in the relic on the island? What? Are you sure? Zhou Lan asked. I saw it with my own eyes. He admitted it himself. Sima Yue said. If the Emperor's inheritance is there, then why aren't there any other treasures? Yu Qing asked. That's because we're not the only ones who came to this immortal land, Sima Yue said. Many people came here, and the things in the relic were taken by others. Others? Who? Qi Wei asked. Outsiders, Sima Yue said. How do you know? Qingyi said it. Who is Qingyi? The Tree of Life. If the Tree of Life said it, then it shouldn't be wrong, Zhou Lan said. If that's really the case, then the one on the island is the real relic? Then what is this place? What do you think this is? Sima Yue asked back. Zhou Lan and Blue Blade thought of something, and their expressions changed. If that's really the case, then if the people from the sect go in. No, I have to hurry and inform Master about this, Blue Blade said as he wanted to go back. Blue Blade, you should know what to say, right? Some people don't want others to know about them, Sima Yue said. Blue Blade was stunned. She was talking about Xianqiu he. He nodded saying, I understand. Also, we can't be sure about this. Just tell your master and the others secretly, Sima Yue reminded him again. Okay. Blue Blade turned and left. Qi Wei and the others still didn't understand, and asked curiously, What's wrong with Blue Blade? I haven't seen his face change like that in a long time. The three of them still didn't understand the severity of the situation. Zhou Lan understood them better. They had simple personalities and thought of things simply. If she didn't remind them, they wouldn't be able to connect the dots. If the one on the island is the real relic, then what is this place? She asked. That should be a fake relic. An emperor can't have two relics so close to each other, Yu Qing said. She understood a little, and took a deep breath. Could it be? Chapter 1135. Xian Minglang understood a little, but he didn't think that deeply. Qi Wei still didn't understand. Could it be? He asked. Zhou Lan sighed saying, If that place is real, then this place is fake. Since it's fake, why would someone find a treasure here, and say that this is the real emperor's remains? What's the benefit of saying that? Get everyone to come here, Qi Wei said. But this could be real. Yu has already confirmed that the island is the real remains. Could this be the real remains? Zhou asked. Impossible, unless that emperor is an idiot. Qi Wei said. Of course the emperor wasn't an idiot. So, we've been here for so long, but have we heard who discovered this place first? Which power does it belong to? Zhou asked again. Yu Qing and the others shook their heads. When a normal person obtains a treasure, they can't wait for the whole world to not know. Why would that person release the news? Zhou continued to ask. It must be to attract people here on purpose, Qi Wei said. But why? Yu Qing asked. No matter what the reason is, this news is enough to make people tremble, Zhou said. Blue Blade understood this, so he went back to inform Master and the others? I just don't know if Master and the others will believe it. Zhou was a little worried. They believed that there was an inside story because they believed in Sima Yue, but the sect might not believe it. In front of treasures and opportunities, everyone's rationality was pitifully low. What if, this place has nothing to do with the Emperor's remains? Or, is this another opportunity? Xian Minglang said. We can't rule out that possibility, Zhou said. That's why I'm worried that Master and the others won't believe it. As expected, Blue Blade had an argument with someone beside his master, and finally left after saying some angry words. They don't believe you, right? Zhou asked. My master is fine, but the hateful people at Red Blade's side keep saying that I'm a coward and that there's no inside story at all. I made up such a lousy excuse because I didn't dare to go. Blue Blade said. I can't say anything about Xian Qiuhe, so it's normal that they don't believe me. Since you've already said it, it's none of your business whether they listen or not. Han Miaoshuang said. Even so, we're still from the same sect. If something happens to them, we can't just ignore it. Blue Blade said. Although there were internal disagreements within a sect, they were all united to the outside world. Everyone knew that without the lips, the teeth would feel cold. But if they insist on dying, will you follow them? Han Miaoshuang asked. If there really is something, we will go together, Blue Blade said. Are you stupid? Sima Yue rolled her eyes at Blue Blade. She had thought that he was a good person before, but now it seemed that he was really stupid. What? Instead of thinking about how to save the lives of your sect members, you want to die with them. If you're not stupid, what are you? Sima Yue said. You don't know, but our sect has some stubborn old people who won't listen to us. Zhou said somewhat helplessly. Then let those old fogies go in themselves. Han Miaoshuang said. That's not realistic. Zhou shook her head. If we go in, we can be more alert if anything happens. I hope that we can avoid some things. I hope so. At this moment, the heroic sword sect members waved at them, indicating that they should go back. They're calling us, they should be going in soon. You guys go ahead. Sima Yue smiled. Qi Wei pulled Sima Yue's clothes and said, Boss, if anything happens, you have to come and save us. Sima Yue used 2 fingers to pinch her clothes and pulled it out gently. She smiled at Qi Wei. If I don't go in, how can I save you? As my little brother, you have to be smart, don't die in there. Boss, I feel that your smile is a little scary, Qi Wei said with a frown. Is it? Sima Yue's smile deepened. The Qi clan should have prepared many good things for you. Use them well, don't die in there. Otherwise, I won't acknowledge you as my little brother. All right. Qi Wei left feeling wronged. He believed in Sima Yue. If she said that something bad would happen, then nothing good would happen. Save his life. Save his life. Otherwise, he wouldn't be her little brother. When Blue Blade and the others walked far away, Han Miaoshuang asked, Little junior sister, are we really not going in? We'll see. But we definitely won't go in with them, Sima Yue said. Then should we inform the others? Sima Yue looked at the people below, some of whom she had some relations with, and said, We can inform them, but whether they believe it or not, it's none of our business. How do we inform them? Sima Yue took out a pen and paper and quickly wrote a few words. Then, she divided them into small pieces and called out the scarlet bees, letting them fly towards the forces that she wanted to inform. People were already entering from the entrance. Those who received the paper did not take her words to heart. Big Wei and Little Wei were talking to the people in the sect when a scarlet bee flew in front of them and stopped. What is this? The person who was talking to them asked. UUS scarlet bee, Big Wei said. He stretched out his hand and the scarlet bee stopped in his hand. A faint white light flashed, and a piece of paper appeared in his hand. He picked up the piece of paper, and the scarlet bee flapped its wings and flew away. Is she sending us a message? Little Wei saw that Big Wei didn't say anything after reading the piece of paper and asked. Big Wei opened the piece of paper, and everyone could see the words on it. Real and fake historical remains, beware of traps. Little Wei read it and said, she's saying that this is a fake historical remains and there's a trap here? No matter if it's a trap or not, we have to be careful. Big Wei said. It's not like you don't know Yue, that child. She wouldn't say things that she isn't confident in. Yue? The array genius in the sect that you were talking about? The people beside him asked. That's her. She seems to be quite popular recently. I often hear people talking about her. Indeed, heroes come from the youth. If only this person was from our sect. With her talent, I believe that our 100 changing doors will be able to regain our former glory. But that's just wishful thinking. The power that she just established is quite big. It's not realistic to ask her to give up her position as the Vice Valley Lord to join us. Big Wei and Little Wei looked at each other. They had not announced that Sima Yue had the array book. Only the sect leader knew about it. If these people knew that the book was with her, they would not think this way. Chapter 1136. CPA 300_4. Big Wei kept the paper. Big Wei, Little Wei, you guys have interacted with Sima Yue before. What do you think of this matter? The 100 changing doors people asked. I think it's highly possible. Little Wei said. I've been suspicious about this since the beginning. Why would a ruin appear out of nowhere? Now it seems that there really is a problem. But how did Sima Yue find out? Someone questioned. Is this news reliable? I think it's good to believe in some things. But we can't give up on this opportunity. Then we'll still go in, but everyone must remain vigilant. Big Wei said. Inform the inner sect disciples that if anything happens, immediately activate the array and leave. All right. Sima Yue was not surprised to see those people enter after reading the note. They didn't listen to you, Hua Hua said. Everything is within my expectations. Sima Yue said. A note can only alert them, but it can't stop them. You already knew? Then why did you tell them? Hua Hua didn't understand. Some relationships can be considered passable. It's up to us to tell them, but it's up to them to listen. Sima Yue said. I'll be happy if they can prevent this from happening. But if they don't listen and something happens in the end, I won't blame myself. Hua Hua nodded, somewhat understanding what she meant. They're going in too. Little Dream had been paying attention to the Demon Wolf clan the entire time. Seeing them walk down the mountain, she clenched her fists and said, Don't worry, they won't be able to escape. Sima Yue patted Xiaoming's head. What did you do? Han Miao Shuang asked. It's nothing much. I just got Qi Feng to sprinkle something on them during the chaos. Sima Yue said. Is the poison effective? Will they find out? Su Xiaoxiao felt a little worried. If they found out, then they couldn't take them by surprise. The Devil Clan is more sensitive to these smells. If you really use poison, I'm afraid it won't escape their noses. Jiang Junxian said. Who said I poisoned it? Sima Yue said. If it isn't poison, then what is it? It's just some pollen, some Huahua's pollen. Sima Yue said. It's not strange to have some pollen on your body in the Wonderland, right? The scent of Huahua lingered on their bodies for a long time without dissipating. As long as Qi Feng was there, he would be able to find them. Besides, don't we have scrolls? It's just that these scrolls are sometimes unreliable. Unreliable. Our aura is decreasing. Once it completely disappears, we probably won't be able to sense their whereabouts. Sima Yue said. After all, this is a Dharma treasure that targets humans. Now that we have Huahua's pollen, we have another form of protection. Han Miao Shuang said. When are we going in? Let's wait until they've all gone in. The humans, devils and ghosts went in one after another. In order to be the first to get the treasures, everyone was fighting to be the first to go in. Many people started to fight at the entrance again, giving other people a chance to enter. Master, they've all gone in. Are we still not moving? A guard behind Deja asked. Deja looked at Sima Yue, who was on the opposite mountain. His eyes darkened as he said, "Wait a while more." The people behind him understood that he wanted to wait for Sima Yue to come down and go in together. Even if they didn't go in together, at least they wouldn't be too far apart. They hadn't officially acknowledged each other, but he was already worried about her safety. It was a pity that Sima Yue didn't care about his feelings. After a while, the ghost clansmen had all gone in. There weren't many people left from the other two clans. But she still didn't have any intention to move. Deja was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. Are you going in or not? If I'm not going in, don't stand outside and tease me. Master, they've all gone in. We go in. Deja looked at Sima Yue. She didn't look like she wanted to go in. He could only order everyone to go in. At this moment, they were the last few. That ghost clansman is really strange. He only went in when the other ghost clansmen went in. Could it be that he knew something was going on? I feel like he's waiting for us. Jiang Junxian said. Do you know him? Speaking of the ghost clan, everyone looked at Sima Yue. She was the only one who had interacted with the ghost clan. And the other half of her body also had the aura of the ghost clan. Sima Yue looked at them and said, Why are you looking at us? Don't tell me he's waiting for me? Junior sister, do you know him? Han Miaoshuang asked. I know him. Sima Yue admitted. You actually know him? Why haven't I heard you mention him? Didn't I mention him? Sima Yue said in surprise. He's the ghost clan from Bright Red Mountain Peak? The last time I came back from Bright Red Mountain Peak, I almost died because of them. The three senior brothers and senior sisters were silent. Then Han Miaoshuang cursed. Damn, you should have said it earlier. We'll go and kill them. Senior sister, calm down. Sima Yue saw how agitated she was and held her back. Don't worry, I won't let him off so easily. No wonder I was wondering why they kept looking at us. So they're enemies. Su Xiaoxiao was also furious. Master and Teacher Ge left the academy because Sima Yue's physique was completely activated. They knew her secret and went to find a solution for her. At the same time, the ghost clan's aura was activated and pushed her body to the brink of collapse. So it was all because of the ghost clan. They stared at her. Why didn't she say it earlier? Alright, you guys don't have to be so angry. Sima Yue smiled. I already said that I won't let them off. When I take my revenge, you guys can take care of them. She didn't expect them to be like this when they found out. Instantly, she felt warmth in her heart. Then let's go in. Han Miaoshuang said. Don't be anxious. Since we're not going in to look for treasures, let's wait a little longer. Sima Yue said. What are we waiting for? Now that everyone has gone in, the ghost clan didn't leave any marks. What if we can't find them when we go in? Sima Yue looked at the anxious person and said, If we can't find them, we can wait for them to come out. Aya, senior sister, calm down. The bees said that someone is coming. Let's hide. She brought people into the spirit pagoda and heard little spirit observing the situation outside. A group of masked men in black flew over from afar. Looking at the empty valley, a lady said, They went in once they went in. Looking at these footprints, there should be a lot of people who went in. Is everything ready? A hoarse voice asked. Yes, everything has been set up inside. That lady said. Then let's go in and take a look. Remember to cut off their escape route. We'll open it half a year later. Yes. After speaking, those men in black all went in, leaving only a few to guard the entrance. Chapter 1137. Do you guys smell anything? I feel a little dizzy. Dong. The men in black fell down one after another. Then, Sima Yue and the rest appeared on the spot. Let's go and take a look. They came to the men in black and pulled down their masks. Eldest senior brother, do you know him? Sima Yue looked at Jiang Junxian. Jiang Junxian shook his head. Sima Yue threw away the mask in her hand. It seemed like someone was up to something again. She just didn't know if these people were in cahoots with those who framed the God Dragon sect, and those who started killing people everywhere. What is this? Come over and take a look. Han Miaoshuang beckoned everyone over. Sima Yue walked over and saw a turntable embedded in the soil. The turntable didn't have any energy fluctuations. If it wasn't for the black-clothed men removing the soil on it, they definitely wouldn't have discovered it. Little junior sister, do you know what this is? Han Miaoshuang asked when she saw how engrossed Sima Yue was. This is the first time I've seen this, but I'm sure I've seen it in a book before. Sima Yue said, I'll go look for it. She sent her divine sense into the spirit pagoda and started rummaging through the library. Little Spirit appeared and looked at Sima Yue's spirit body. Sima Yue noticed that there was something wrong with Little Spirit's gaze. She shifted her gaze away from the book and asked, Little Spirit, what's wrong? The 4th floor of the spirit pagoda is open. The book in Sima Yue's hand almost fell to the ground as she looked at Little Spirit and asked, It was activated when I advanced. Little Spirit nodded his head. Then why didn't you tell me earlier? Sima Yue stared at him. Seeing that there was something wrong with his expression, she said, What's wrong? Whenever you are alone, you can come in and look at the things on the 4th floor. Little Spirit said. All right. Sima Yue nodded. Seeing him like this, it seemed that the things on the 4th floor were a little scary. Seeing that Little Spirit had not told her about it for so long, it was probably because he did not want others to know about it. She had been with someone else recently. It seemed like he would have to come in and take a look when he had the time. Now, it was better to deal with the matter at hand. She continued to look for books, flipping through each one a few times before putting them down. Little Spirit came to her side and asked, What are you looking for? Do you remember a book that was quite old and thin? It talked about some weird things? Sima Yue asked. The books here are all relatively old. There are even books from ancient times. Secondly, those books were very thin. Third, more than half of the books here were about strange books. Which book are you looking for? Little Spirit asked. Sima Yue was speechless. This guy, Sima Yue drew a rough picture of the turntable in the air and said, There's a record of this. Little Spirit thought for a moment, and all the books on the bookshelf flew up and flipped through them. Soon a book floated in front of Sima Yue. This book. Sima Yue took the book and flipped through 2 pages saying, This is it. Thank you, Little Spirit. Her divine sense returned outside and Sima Yue had an ancient book in her hand. This is it. Han Miaoshuang asked. Sima Yue nodded. She flipped open the book and found the place where the turntable was described. Hiss. It's actually a Rubik's Cube sky. Han Miaoshuang cried out in surprise when she saw the description. What's a Rubik's Cube sky? Su Xiao asked. It's something that can create a space. It's just that this space has to be built on top of a real space. Han Miaoshuang said. What's the use of this space? It can create anything you want. It's similar to an illusion array, but it's more advanced than an illusion array. The things created inside are all real. Sima Yue said. Hiss. Everyone took a deep breath. There was actually such an advanced thing here. If I want to kill someone inside, won't it be easy? If that was the case, wouldn't those people who went and be dead for sure? It's not that easy. Sima Yue said. The things that are consumed inside need to be supported by spiritual energy. The stronger the spiritual energy, the more powerful the things created. The range will also be larger. That's still good. If it's really unrestrained, then this thing is too scary. But this thing is already closed. If there's no external force to open it, or if the original owner opens it, the people inside can forget about coming out. Sima Yue said. Those people just now said that they cut off their escape route. They should be saying that they closed it. Little Dream guessed. The owner of this thing should be that person. It's highly possible. Sima Yue said. If that's the case, then everyone inside is like a turtle in a jar. Seems like it's really a fake historical remains. Jiang Junxian sighed. Then do we still go in? This Rubik's Cube sky is already closed. Unless we open it first, we can't go in. Then can you open it? No. Then what should we do? There were quite a lot of people in black just now. With the help of this thing, it was not impossible to kill everyone inside. Think of a way to open it. Sima Yue said. Didn't you say that we can't open it? I can't open it now. But there's a way. Sima Yue raised the ancient book in her hand and pointed at a line of small words below. Everyone looked at the small words and said, then hurry up and study it. They now felt that this person was still a little naughty. She liked to tease them when she had nothing to do. Sima Yue hugged the book and sat at the side to study it. Following the method written in the book, she rearranged the erase stones that were originally messy on the turntable. Although there was a chant in the book to arrange the erase stones, every step had to be done carefully. So when she opened it again, 2 to 3 days had already passed. A wave of energy came. Just like the wave at the entrance, it attracted everyone over. It's done. Yes. We can go in now, Sima Yue said. Then let's go in. Wait. Sima Yue stopped them. What are we waiting for? If we go in and get locked up, what will we do? Sima Yue asked. So, we have to do something outside. She first set up a few arrays outside to hide this place. Then she called Little Rock and Thousand Resonance out. I've set up an array. Most people won't find this place. You guys stay here and guard. No matter what happens, you can't let this place close. Understand? Little Rock and Thousand Resonance understood the importance of this. They nodded and said, You don't worry. If there's a need, I will gather the bird clans nearby. Okay, then I'll leave the outside to you guys. After speaking, she brought everyone into the space. Chapter 1138. When Sima Yue and the rest arrived at the Rubik's Cube, they realized that it was no different from the outside world. If they didn't know beforehand, they wouldn't have noticed it. Those people have been here for so long. I wonder where they are now, Huahua said. Let's take care of the Devil Wolf clan first. Sima Yue said. Even if they had been here for a day, they wouldn't be too far away. She called out the scarlet bees and sent them out to scout for information. She also called Little Seven and Qingyi out. The space here is quite big. Seven sensed around and said, It is indeed not small. Otherwise, how could it accommodate so many people? Sima Yue said, There are corpses over there. Little Seven pointed not far ahead. They flew over and saw a pile of corpses. It's a human. The person who killed them is also a human. Su Xiaoxiao checked and said, It should be those black-clothed men who chased after us. Han Miaoshuang said, To them this is a hunting plan. What is the purpose of these people coming in? They keep stirring up trouble in the continent. What exactly do they want to do? Sima Yue frowned. Every time we catch a dead person, we can't get anything out of them. Little Seven pouted. The scarlet bees have smelled the scent of Huahua pollen. Sima Yue said, That direction. They followed the directions given by the scarlet bees and caught up to the Devil Wolf clan in less than 2 days. It really is them. At this moment, the demon wolf race was fighting with a group of humans. Sima Yue noticed that these people's expressions were somewhat sluggish. They didn't seem to be normal. The demon wolf clan seemed to be too excited. It was as if they had eaten stimulants. They kept attacking the humans as if they didn't know pain. They watched from afar and had no intention of making a move. With their current strength, it would be useless even if they attacked. Why do I feel like they aren't normal? Little Seven said. It's indeed abnormal, as if it's being controlled by someone. Han Miaoshuang said. They're poisoned. Sima Yue could guess that something was wrong when she saw their expressions. She sniffed hard and smelled a different fragrance. She took out a few antidote pills and gave them to them, saying, Eat this. They were all alchemists, so they could tell at a glance that it was an antidote. Each of them took one and ate it. Those people must have been poisoned by the smell when they passed by. Then they lost their minds and started fighting. The battle strength of the Devil Wolf clan is quite strong. Han Miaoshuang said. The battle prowess of the Demon Wolf clan is ranked among the top in the demon realm. Little Dream said. It's precisely because their combat power is strong that they have a rich clan land in the cruel demon realm. However, most of their things were stolen. There are so many of them and they are so excited. It won't be easy to deal with them. Right now we don't have the right time, the right place, and the right people. Of course it won't be easy. Sima Yue said. She felt the movement beside her and reached out to hold Little Dream's hand, saying, "Don't worry, we will kill them all." Little Dream's hand clenched into a fist. She looked at Sima Yue and nodded heavily. She believed in her master. If she said that she would take revenge for her, then she definitely would. The battle in the distance was quickly decided. The humans were all killed while the Devil Wolf clan didn't suffer too many losses. It was clear that their battle prowess was strong. Looking at the ferocious Devil Wolf clan, Sima Yue felt a headache coming on. She had to come up with a good plan. After the Devil Wolf clan killed everyone, they continued to walk forward. When they were far away, they gradually regained their senses. What happened to us just now? We went through a battle just now. Haha, that killing was so satisfying. But why can't I remember clearly? I think you were too excited from the killing that you can't remember. No, we were indeed a little abnormal just now, someone said. As expected of the Emperor's remains. Just a random place can make us feel dazed. So you're saying that this is really the Emperor's remains? That's right. Haha, let's go. Let's see if we can get any treasures. Ha ha ha. Those people flew away. Sima Yue heard their words through the Scarlet Bee and was speechless. Could it be that they were really from the Beast clan and didn't have brains? This clearly wasn't the effect of the remains, alright? Looking at how happy they were, it really made one. Little Dream saw those people laughing so happily and the evil aura in her eyes became stronger. Back then, after they destroyed the Nightmare clan, they also laughed so wantonly on her clan's land, declaring their victory. Thinking about those who had died, she clenched her fists. She swore that she would kill these people with her own hands. Her nails dug into her palms and fresh blood dripped down, just like her heart. Little Seven was beside Little Dream and felt her pain. She pried her fingers away and said, "Don't be sad, we'll be with you. They've gone far away. Follow them." Sima Yue waved her hand, and everyone followed the Devil Wolf clan from afar. During this period, the Devil Wolf clan went through two battles. One was with the Devil clan, and the other was with the Ghost clan. Both ended in their victory. From this, one could see how strong their battle strength was. After following them for 2 days, she finally found an opportunity. The Devil Wolf clan met with a human powerhouse. Coincidentally, that powerhouse came out from the canyon in front. During the battle, those people accidentally said something about retreating into the remains, letting the Devil Wolf clan know about the canyon in front. The Scarlet Bees had already discovered the canyon. Sima Yue was worried about how to trick them into the canyon. It was really like someone giving her a pillow when she was sleepy. Let's go ahead and set it up first. Sima Yue took out a one-time use array and brought everyone to the canyon. I'll go set up the array. Sima Yue threw the people on the canyon and went to set up the array on both sides of the canyon. She first set up a dragon trapping array. She wanted these people to not be able to leave once they entered. Then, she set up an illusion array and put enough poison at the entrance. As long as those people entered and the dragon trapping array was activated, the poison would spread. Yu, what kind of poison did you put in? Little Seven ran to Sima Yue and asked. A poison that will let them enjoy. Sima Yue said. Is it the poison that poisoned Huayang Palace last time? No. Sima Yue kept the jade bottle. This is the upgraded version of that poison. That one can only be used against humans. This one will definitely make the Devil Clan and Ghost Clan surrender. When everyone saw Sima Yue like this, they all had the same thought. In the future, they should never provoke an array master or poison master, especially a petty and evil one. Chapter 1139. CPA 300_4. After Sima Yue had arranged everything properly, she brought everyone to the side of the cliff. She used a small array to hide them and waited for the Devil Wolf clansmen to come in. Half a day later, the scarlet bees guarding outside sent news that the devil wolf race had arrived. Sima Yue immediately activated the small array, completely concealing their figures and aura. Soon, they saw the devil wolf clan members running over excitedly. Haha, is this the canyon those humans were talking about? This is part of the ruins? Why does it look so ordinary? Have you forgotten what the humans said? There's an illusion formation outside. We have to break it before we can see what's inside. We don't know anything about formations. How can we break that illusion formation? We don't understand formations, but we have power. Smash it. Smash everything outside. Let's see how long that formation can last. Yes. We have the power. Go smash all these things. The people of the Demon Wolf clan were all excited. They condensed their magic power and turned the stones and flowers outside into ashes. The Devil Wolf race could not see Sima Yue, but Yue and the rest could see the Devil Wolf race clearly. The corner of her mouth couldn't help but twitch as she watched the demon wolves attack in a disorderly manner. Fortunately, the array she had set up was relatively sturdy. Otherwise, with their disturbance, she would not be able to open it. She injected some spirit energy into the array to activate it. After the magic energy dissipated, another scene appeared in the canyon. What a dense demonic aura. Could it be that the emperor here is really from the demon race? Haha, if that's the case, then we can use everything here. Quick, let's go in and see what treasures are inside. The demonic wolves rushed into the canyon. When they were all in the canyon, Sima Yue activated the dragon trapping array. Once the dragon trapping array was activated, the illusory array completed its mission. The scene in front of him instantly disappeared, and so did the dense demonic chi. What's going on? Demon Wolf looked at the changes around him and was astonished. Young Patriarch, it's a formation. They raised their heads and saw a layer of ripples on top of the canyon. The same was true for the entrance and exit. Clearly, the entire canyon was enveloped by a formation. Who's messing around? Maroon Wolf shouted as he looked into the sky. Junior Valley Master, there is no demonic chi here. We have been deceived. This young master knows. Maroon Wolf roared at the clansmen. If he still couldn't tell that they had been deceived, then he didn't need to stay in the Devil Realm anymore. Who's behind this? Demon Wolf's men shouted again. Sima Yue undid the array, and they immediately saw the figure on the cliff. Who are you? Why did you scheme against us? Maroon Wolf asked. You may not know us, but you should understand when you see her. Sima Yue said and moved aside, revealing Xiaoming behind her. The moment he saw Little Dream, Winged Wolf was shocked speechless. Dream, nightmare beast. Maroon Wolf, do you still remember me? Xiaoming coldly looked at him. Her eyes were filled with killing intent. You are that nightmare beast. Maroon Wolf remembered that when he was young, he had seen his clansmen dissect her with others. So many years had passed, but she was still the same. She was still the same in his memories. It's rare that you still remember me. Impossible. Weren't you suppressed? How could you be here? Maroon Wolf shouted. I have to thank you for suppressing me in the human world. Otherwise, how could I know my master and save me? Xiaoming coldly laughed. Humph. Even if you have an undying body, with a human as your master, do you think you can beat us? Maroon Wolf saw that Sima Yue's group didn't have many people and they weren't very strong, so he didn't put them in his eyes. After a short moment of shock, he returned to his usual arrogant self. When did we say that we would fight with you? You idiots. Little Seven placed her hands on her hips with a look of disdain. You want to use this array to deal with us? Maroon Wolf said. What? Do you want to use this to trap us for a lifetime, or do you want to come in and fight with us? Seeing Sima Yue and the others above, he guessed that they wouldn't come in. If they came down, they could catch them all in one fell swoop and then slowly break the array. You want to use reverse psychology to lure us down. It's a pity that it's useless against us. Sima Yue said. Maroon Wolf's eyes narrowed. It seemed like these people were planning on wasting time with them. You guys go and break the array for me. He ordered the clansmen beside him. Yes, young clan leader. Those people flew into the air and attacked the array. However, no matter how much strength they used, they couldn't break the array at all. After attacking a few times, those demon wolves felt dizzy. Their stamina was depleted and they fell to the ground with a dong sound. Useless things. Maroon Wolf didn't think that there was anything wrong with those people. He pointed at the other clansmen and said, "You guys go." Those clansmen went up to attack, but like the others before, they fell down after a few attacks. Useless things. You guys go up. Maroon Wolf roared. Young clan leader, I feel like something is strange. A person beside Maroon Wolf said. What's strange? Maroon Wolf asked. The clansmen we brought in are all very strong. It's impossible for them to become like this after just a few attacks. That person said. Maroon Wolf calmed down and thought about it. It was true. The Demon Wolf clansmen couldn't be so weak that they would become like this after just a few attacks. Go and take a look. What's wrong with them? Yes. That person went to check and came back saying, Young clan leader, they should have been poisoned. Poisoned? How could they have been poisoned? Are you sure? No, they really were poisoned. Ha ha ha. Little Seven's voice came from the cliff. She covered her mouth as she laughed. We just wanted to see when you guys would realize that you were poisoned. You really are a group of idiots, taking you this long to realize that you were poisoned. The Demon Wolf clansmen's faces changed. Not only did these people trap them in the array, they even poisoned them. They were already prepared. What kind of poison did you give us? It's a poison that will make your entire body weak, and you won't be able to use your magic. However, it won't take effect that quickly at first, but once you use your magic, it will take effect faster. Sima Yue explained. Once she said this, those who were preparing to use their magic to attack quickly retracted it. Even Maroon Wolf was the same. Hehe, you group of idiots. Even if you don't use your magic, this poison will take effect in half an hour. It's already been 10 minutes, you still have 10 minutes of free time. Little Seven kindly reminded them. Chapter 1140. CPA 300_4. Little Seven's words caused the expressions of the Devil Wolf clan members to change. They were all poisoned? Impossible. They were the valiant Devil Wolf clan. So how could they be poisoned by a human? You don't believe me? Little Seven said. You can try circulating your magic and see if you can be like those people. No one tried. They subconsciously believed Little Seven's words. In order to prevent the poison from taking effect prematurely, none of them moved. What do you want to do? Winged Wolf asked with a dark face. Do you still need to ask? Little Seven had an expression that said, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Whatever you did to Little Ming back then, you'll have to pay it back today. How dare you? Why wouldn't I dare? Do you think that this is still the demon realm? Do you think it's still under your rule? Nightmare Beast, if you dare to kill us, my Devil Wolf clan will not let you off. Even if you hide in the human world, they will dig 3 feet into the ground to find you. Maroon Wolf threatened. Really? Then let them dig 3 feet into the ground. Sima Yue said. Perhaps before they can dig 3 feet into the ground, we will have already attacked the Devil Realm and destroyed your nest. You should worry about yourselves now. Maroon Wolf looked at Sima Yue. He didn't know why, but when he looked at this weak human, he felt a chill in his heart. Could it be that he was really going to die here today? Little Meng, it's almost time. Sima Yue said. Be careful. Okay. Little Dream nodded and was about to fly down. Wait. Sima Yue pulled her back and took out Ling Long. Let her accompany you. Ling Long flew out of Sima Yue's hand and rubbed against Xiaomeng. Little Dream grabbed Ling Long and flew down. The dragon trapping array allowed entry, but not exit. When Little Dream flew in, the ripples moved and then calmed down. The members of the Devil Wolf clan looked at her warily. When she took a step forward, they took a step back. Nightmare Beast, I advise you not to act recklessly. You know my Devil Wolf clan you. I know. Of course I know that your Devil Wolf clan is cruel by nature, and will not shrink from any crime. Their favorite thing to do is to exterminate other people's clans. Little Dream said. But so what? You've already killed all of my clansmen. Do you think you can destroy my clan a second time? As she spoke, she waved Ling Long in her hand, and Sword Chi spread out, killing those who had fallen to the ground. Nightmare beast, don't be impulsive. Let's talk things over. With the passage of time, they now felt that their movements were slowing down and their magic power was obstructed. Facing Little Dream, even with so many of them, they were powerless to fight back. Talk nicely? Back then, when you exterminated my nightmare clan, did you ever think that we could talk things over? Back then, you conducted thousands of experiments on my body and skinned me alive over and over again. Have you ever thought of talking nicely? It was the first time Han Miaoshuang and Su Xiaoxiao heard Little Dream talk about what happened back then. Thinking of the scenes she described, they couldn't help but tear up. They simply couldn't imagine that she watched her clansmen die because of her. She was skinned alive over and over again, but she couldn't die. Little Dream was so young back then. How did she survive? Little Dream didn't say a word. She waved Ling Long once, and a group of devil wolves died under her sword. Fresh blood splattered on her face and body. That fierce gaze made her look like she crawled out from hell. Back then, you couldn't kill me, and you couldn't take out the things in my body. You sealed my strength and memories, and then suppressed me in the Yilin continent for hundreds of years. Have you ever thought of talking nicely? Little Dream waved her sword again. Now you tell me, we can talk things over. Tell me, how should we talk things over? When Little Dream recovered her memories, Little Seven wasn't by her side. She didn't see her crazy look. Hearing her say this today, she felt that her heart was going to break. Little Dream, don't kill them with one strike. She stomped her little feet and flew down. She came to Little Dream's side and looked at those people. Killing them with one strike is too easy for them. I'll go too. Hua Hua also flew in, and stood on the other side of Little Dream. No matter what you do, count me in. Although the name Hua Hua was given to her by Little Dream, and she always felt that this name was too low, it didn't erase the friendship between them. Little Dream looked at Little Seven and then looked at Hua Hua. She nodded and said, Little Seven is right. Killing them like this is too easy for them. I said an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. I can't let you die so easily, right, Maroon Wolf? Maroon Wolf saw Little Dream's bloody smile and wanted to retreat. However, because his body was numb, he fell down. You. What do you want to do? He trembled as he asked. Didn't I say it already? An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Whatever you did to me, I will return it to you bit by bit. Maroon Wolf thought about how he had seen her being dissected alive by those people. He was so scared that his face turned white. He shouted, No. You think I'll stop just because you say no? This isn't the time for you to have the final say. Little Seven went up and stepped on his chest, saying, Humph, how many times did Little Dream say no in the past? Did you agree? Don't ask others to do what you didn't do in the past. Pa. A vine appeared in Hua Hua's hand. With a wave of her hand, the vine viciously whipped those people. Aya, are we going to dissect them? I don't have a knife yet. Yu. Little Seven raised her head and shouted at Sima Yue. Sima Yue looked at her silly appearance and speechlessly shook her head. She took out 2 daggers and threw them over. Hua Hua waved her vine, and it wrapped around the 2 daggers, pulling them back. She gave one to Little Seven. Ling Long twisted her body and turned into a dagger as well. Now the 3 of them each had a dagger. Then let's begin. Little Seven looked at Little Dream and retreated to the side. This person who had hurt Little Dream before naturally had to be dealt with by her own hands. Little Dream slowly walked over and squatted down beside Maroon Wolf, playing with the dagger in her hand. Don't worry, Ling Long is very sharp. Although it's going to cut through your body, you definitely won't feel any pain. Those organs of yours, even if I cut them all off, they'll still look like they're connected. Maroon Wolf's body began to tremble as he heard this. He finally understood the expression that little girl had when she had laid on the chopping board that year. That was fear, despair, pain and struggle. But what he didn't know was that after being tortured hundreds and thousands of times, when she saw those daggers again, that feeling was doubled. Chapter 1141. Little Dream placed her left hand on Winged Wolf's stomach, and with a thought, A ball of flame instantly wrapped around his upper body, burning his clothes clean. Who would have thought that this demonic wolf's humanoid figure was actually quite attractive? It was a pity that such a good figure did not attract their attention at all. PFFF. Without any warning, Xiaoming stabbed the dagger into his chest. Rip. Little Dream held the dagger and pulled it from his chest to his abdomen. Blood continued to gush out, but there was no more blood to be spat out. Wing's wolf's mouth was agape and his eyes were wide open. He couldn't believe that he had really been disemboweled. Back then you cut open my stomach like this. Xiaoming said, "Look, I still remember how you handed them the knife and how you stood by the side and asked why there was nothing in my stomach." Maroon Wolf's eyes finally turned. He looked at Little Dream's angry eyes, and remembered the first time he had seen them dissect Little Dream. Rip. Similarly, the sound of our body being cut open was exceptionally clear in the dim room. Little Winged Wolf leaned over, and saw Little Dream's empty stomach. He asked curiously, "Clan leader, why is there nothing in this person's body?" "Because she has already been dissected by others too many times. They have removed all her internal organs, and they have yet to regrow them," an old man said. "Her internal organs are gone, so why isn't she dead yet?" Little Winged Wolf asked. "Because there's something in her heart. That thing can guarantee that no matter what kind of injury she receives, she will not die," the Devil Wolf clan leader said. "Then shall we take that thing out?" "I can't. Every time it approached the heart, it would be blocked by an invisible force. Therefore we can't move her heart and she won't die." At this time Little Dream opened her eyes on the chopping board. Little Winged Wolf would forever remember those eyes. So clear, so pained, so desperate. PFFF. Xiaoming stabbed down and pulled hard. His liver was pulled out by her, followed by his internal organs and intestines. "Back then, you thought it was fun that I didn't have any internal organs. Today, you should also experience that feeling of emptiness in your stomach." The light in Winged Wolf's eyes slowly dissipated, and the life force in his body also quickly drained away. He was not Little Dream. He did not have Little Dream's undying body. Little Dream's internal organs were gone, but her heart was still hanging, waiting for the other organs to be reborn. As for him, without her, he had nothing. When Maroon Wolf took his last breath, a white light flashed and he returned to his original form, a giant demon wolf. His eyes were wide open, and he died with his eyes wide open. Never in his wildest dreams would he have thought that his trip to the immortal realm would cost him his life. And in the Devil World, in the Devil Wolf clan, the shattering of Maroon Wolf's life card caused a huge commotion in the Devil Wolf clan. Blood tracking break. A stream of energy was injected into the shattered life card, and an image appeared in front of everyone. Everyone was shocked when they saw the little face covered in blood on the screen. "Patriarch, isn't that?" That person couldn't finish his sentence. They were all too familiar with that face. "Nightmare Beast. It really is a nightmare beast. Patriarch, isn't that nightmare beast suppressed in the captive continent? Why would he appear in the immortal realm? Isn't that obvious? He must have been saved by someone. Patriarch, should we tell this news to the other powers?" "No." The Patriarch waved his hand. "Why? Did you notice? The nightmare beast has been contracted by someone." The Devil Wolf Patriarch said. "It seems so. Wasn't she unkillable before? Now that she has contracted with someone, I want to know if that thing is stronger or if the contract is stronger. If her contracted master was killed, would the nightmare beast who had an undying body die? If she died, wouldn't his Devil Wolf clan be able to obtain that treasure? That treasure that was rumored to be able to rule the entire devil world. According to the information of the two people beside him, find out who contracted the nightmare beast." The Devil Wolf Patriarch ordered. "Yes, Patriarch. Also, be careful not to be discovered by the other powers." "Understood?" "We understand. Patriarch, rest assured, we will be careful. You may leave." "Yes." Poochie. The image suddenly disappeared, but it had already been engraved into everyone's hearts. They were so shocked by the news of the nightmare beast that they even forgot that their young patriarch had been killed. Little Seven looked at Qingyi, who suddenly made a move and blinked, asking, "Qingyi, what's wrong?" "There's a secret technique on the corpse. The other side will see the scene of his death through the secret technique. Qingyi explained. He didn't care if Little Dream was seen or not, but he didn't want others to see Little Seven. That means the other side might already know that Little Dream has come out, Jiang Junxian said. Sima Yue also knew this. If the other side didn't use a secret technique, Qingyi wouldn't have found out. You're not worried? Jiang Junxian asked. What's there to worry about? Sima Yue said. Not to mention that they can't come over now. Even if they did, would we be afraid of them? Even if they don't come, we will find them one day. Her words made their hearts tremble. Her confidence made them feel that if those people came to find her, they were simply seeking death. What should we do with the remaining people? Do we really have to wait for them to all be disemboweled? Su Xiaoxiao asked. Of course, if we don't let them do it, they will make a fuss. Sima Yue said dotingly. How long will that take? Don't worry, they're very fast. Sima Yue said with a smile. They didn't understand what she meant at first, but then they saw how crazy the three of them were. In less than half an hour, they disemboweled all the wolf clansmen. This efficiency. Han Miaoshuang and the others stuttered. After dealing with the last demon wolf, Huahua and Little Seven came to Little Dream's side and asked, Do you want to clean up the corpses? According to past experience, Little Seven's cleanup was to burn them all with fire. Little Dream thought about it and shook her head. Let them be a warning to the other demon clansmen. Let them tell those people that I'm back. I will take revenge on them one by one. Alright then. The demon wolves were all dead. Sima Yue released the array, and they returned to the cliff. I'll go and remove the array first. In order to prevent the demon clansmen from shifting their attention to them, it was better to erase all traces here. After cleaning up, they received a call for help. Boss, help! Qi Wei shouted from the Mother Sunstone. Sima Yue heard that there seemed to be a huge battle at the Mother Sunstone. Chapter 1142. Read 336. Sima Yue was speechless. This request for help was too unreliable. If she hadn't followed them here, who would they have asked for help? For the sake of treasure hunting, I can disregard everything, she said. Boss, I'm doing my best to stay alive. But if you don't come, we'll all be dead. Qi Wei shouted. Seeing how your voice is so loud and clear, and how spirited you are, it should be enough to deal with those people. Sima Yue said this, but she took out a scroll and started reading. Boss. Qi Wei was on the verge of tears. People were dying around him, and even his master was heavily injured. Alright, stop acting like that. Where are you guys? Sima Yue asked. How am I supposed to know which direction it is? Qi Wei said. There's no reference point here. Then look at your shadow. Is it long or short? Which direction? Sima Yue asked. Northwest. The shadow is only a foot long, Qi Wei said. Alright, I got it. Sima Yue cut off the connection with him, and looked at the position of her own shadow to determine the location of each other. Their shadows were facing the southeast. The shadows were not long, which meant that the sun was between them, and they were not far away. They are in the northwest of us. According to the distance, there should be more people here. They should be here. Sima Yue pointed at a bunch of red dots. Very likely. Let's hurry over, or they'll be done for. There's no rush. Sharpening the blade won't delay the work of cutting wood. What are you going to do? Han Miaoshuang asked. Sima Yue took out a pile of array stones and said, This is when the role of an array master is revealed. Without the formation, it's like abandoning the plane to take the green train. Plane or train? Everyone looked at her. What was going on? Cough, cough. That I'll tell you next time. Sima Yue said. Let me set up the array first. Setting up a teleportation array at this distance was a piece of cake for her. It took her less than an hour to set it up. Can this bring us there? Little Seven asked. We don't have the exact coordinates, but we can get a rough estimate based on the distance and direction. Sima Yue said. We can at least shorten the distance by half. Alright, the formation is done. Let's go. The group of people entered the array. After Sima Yue activated the array, they all disappeared. Due to the exhaustion of their spiritual power, the formation stones had all turned into powder. Not long after they left, a group of demons passed by. When they saw the disemboweled demon wolf clan, they turned pale with fright. The devil wolf clan was a clan with very strong fighting strength. Now that they were all killed by someone, and in such a way, it was unknown who they had offended, especially the internal organs that were thrown all over the ground. Even as demons, they couldn't bear to look at it. Boss, should we teach them a lesson? One of the lackeys asked. Clean up what? Wasn't the demon wolf clan very arrogant in the demon realm? Then let them stay here for a few more days. Someone will collect their corpses. Boss is right. Not only will we not collect their corpses, when we go back, we will spread their faces. It would be strange if the demon wolf clan didn't suffer from internal injuries this time. Boss is wise. Then let's go. If those people come back and kill us all, that would be terrible. Right, let's hurry and leave this place. If even the demon wolf clan can't deal with them, then we definitely won't be their match. Wait a moment, use a recording stone to record this place. When we go back, we can show it to others. That so-called boss took out a stone and injected magic into it. He recorded the scene here, especially a close-up of wolf wings. After that he left with satisfaction. Sima Yue and the rest came out of the array and realized that the red dot on the scroll was beside them. This meant that they were less than 100 kilometers away. There's a strong energy fluctuation over there. Little Seven sensed it and said, let's go over and take a look. Sima Yue called out Chongming and flew in that direction. Very quickly, they saw the intense battle situation. Even though they were far away, they could see the heroic sword sect and a few other sects fighting with a group of spirit beasts. Wait, Qingyi said. Sima Yue immediately stopped Chongming. What's wrong, Qingyi? Those spirit beasts, their bodies don't have life. They aren't real spirit beasts. Qingyi said, they are fake. Fake. Qingyi nodded. As a tree of life, whether there was life or not could not be hidden from him. So you're saying that these spirit beasts were created by those people? Jiang Junxian said. Sima Yue looked around and said, if these people wanted to create and control these spirit beasts, they wouldn't be too far away. Go and find out where those black-robed people are. Move quickly, they can't hold on much longer. Thousands of scarlet bees flew up and flew in all directions. Senior sister, go and help them block for a while. Before we get rid of those people, these spirit beasts can't be killed. Sima Yue said. Okay, take this. Sima Yue took out a few thunderbolt bombs and handed it to them. This thing is fun. Let's go. Han Miao Shuang took the thunderbolt bombs and went over with Su Xiaoxiao and the others. Let's go too. When the scarlet bees found those people, they would have a tough battle. The heroic sword sect people could not hold on much longer. It wasn't that they were not strong enough, but these spirit beasts could not be killed. They were constantly using up their stamina and spirit energy, and these spirit beasts would revive after being killed. They could not be killed at all. If this goes on, everyone's spirit energy will be used up. Zhou Lan led a group of disciples and surrounded a few masters who were heavily injured in the middle, confronting those spirit beasts. Qi Wei, didn't you ask Yu for help? Can she rush over? Yu Qing asked. Now Sima Yue was their last hope. Let's not talk about whether or not she can rush over. Even if she can with their strength, they might not be able to deal with these people. A disciple from the heroic sword sect said. You don't understand her. As long as she can come, she will definitely save us. It's all our fault. We didn't believe you. A few elders were injured and were surrounded by disciples to protect them. But if they were injured, how long could these disciples last? If they had believed Blue Blade's words before they came in, they would not have encountered such a situation. They were all mesmerized by the word ruins. Master, don't worry. Boss said she will come, so she will definitely come. As long as she comes, we will be saved. Qi Wei said. These people did not have much hope. It was not that they did not believe in Sima Yue, but these spirit beasts were too strange. who could deal with something that could not be killed. Chapter 1143. By the time Han Miaoshuang and the others arrived, more than half of the heroic sword sect members had died. The remaining ones were still stubbornly resisting, but it was obvious that they wouldn't be able to hold on for long. In the distance, another large group of spirit beasts came out. Looking from afar, they were densely packed. When the heroic sword sect members saw those spirit beasts, their hearts were filled with despair. Right now, the spirit beasts were already too busy to fend for themselves. Now that so many of them had arrived, they were afraid that they would really die here today. These spirit beasts really look alive. Han Miaoshuang's crisp voice fell into the ears of the heroic sword sect members. It was simply the sound of nature. Boom, boom. A few thunderbolt bombs were thrown over, and the spirit beasts behind were directly blown into thin air, greatly relieving the pressure on this side. Qi Wei and the others looked over, but they only saw Han Miaoshuang and the others. They didn't see Sima Yue. Where's boss? He went to look for the source. Everyone come back and stay away from these spirit beasts. Han Miaoshuang and the others flew in and fought the spirit beasts with them. The people from the heroic sword sect knew the power of the thunderbolt bullet. They called back their spirit beasts and ran towards the back. They ran, and the spirit beasts chased. The spirit beasts gradually gathered together. So obedient. Han Miaoshuang smiled and took out a few thunderbolt bombs to distribute to everyone. Then, she injected spirit energy into them, and threw them at the spirit beasts. There were a few more deafening explosions, and those spirit beasts were thrown to the ground. After this round of bombardment, more than half of the spirit beasts were killed. However, new spirit beasts soon appeared. F***CK, are you done yet? Qi Wei shouted. We won't be able to kill all these spirit beasts if we don't take care of the people behind them. Han Miaoshuang said. Little friend, what do you mean? An old man asked. To put it simply, this isn't a relic at all. It's a man-made space similar to an illusion. In this space, those people can create whatever they want. These spirit beasts didn't have any life force and were created by someone. As long as that person didn't die, these spirit beasts wouldn't die. Got it? Those people nodded. If only we had believed you earlier. Blue Blade's master sighed. But when did you find out? We only suspected it at first, but we didn't know what it was. Han Miaoshuang said. Later, after you went in, another group of black-robed men came. We saw them dig out the Rubik's Cube sky, and it just so happened that Junior Sister knew about this, so we completely understood what was going on. If these people had believed them a little and hesitated a little, today's incident wouldn't have happened. Unfortunately, they had all been blinded by treasures and opportunities, and no one believed their words. The heroic sword sect members were ashamed, but since things had already come to this, there was no point in regretting. It was a pity that so many sect disciples had died. The spirit beasts disappeared. Han Miaoshuang said. At first, only 1 or 2 disappeared. Later on, they disappeared in droves. In the end, not a single one was left. Seems like little Junior Sister has already settled those people. Han Miaoshuang took out the Mother Sunstone and contacted Sima Yue. Wait here, we'll be right there. Before Han Miaoshuang could speak, Sima Yue's voice was heard. They waited for a while, and Sima Yue, Little Seven and the others brought 2 black-robed men over. These are the people in Command C? Su Xiaoxiao asked. Nope. Sima Yue threw the 2 of them to the ground. The people in Command C are dead, or else these spirit beasts wouldn't have disappeared. These 2 are his lackeys. Qi Wei and the others jumped down, wanting to take care of these people, but they were stopped by Sima Yue. I haven't gotten any information out of him yet. If you kill him, will you compensate me? Hearing Sima Yue's words, Qi Wei decisively gave up, turned around and ran to Sima Yue saying, Boss, I knew you would come to save us. Sima Yue saw his flattering smile and pushed his face away saying, Didn't I say to settle things on your own? If I didn't come in, who would you ask for help? We had no choice. We could only try. I didn't expect it to work. Qi Wei said with a smile. The few elders from the heroic sword sect came over and bowed to Sima Yu. Han Miaoshuang and the others sang, "Thank you, little friends, for saving us. The disciples of the heroic sword sect are eternally grateful. If you need anything in the future, the heroic sword sect will definitely help." Sima Yue didn't take these elders' words to heart, although she saved them. She didn't think that people who only wanted to find treasures would really be grateful to her. She saved them just to save a few of her friends. However, since they said it so courteously, then she, "If there's anything, I will definitely help the heroic sword sect." Han Miaoshuang saw Sima Yue's courteous words and came over to ask, "Little junior sister, what did you do for these people?" "Nothing much, I just stopped them from killing themselves temporarily," Sima Yue said. "Then do we need to interrogate them?" "No, we'll leave these two people to the heroic sword sect. I think you'll want to know more than us," Sima Yue said. "Now that the danger has been resolved, we'll take our leave." Those elders opened their mouths, but because of their feelings they didn't dare to speak. "Boss, aren't you coming with us?" Qi Wei asked what everyone was thinking. "I still have things to do." "Now that you know what this place is, you should know what to do," Sima Yue said. "If you find out anything from the interrogation, please spread the news. After all, there seems to be a big why plotting behind this immortal land opportunity. Goodbye." After speaking, she and Han Miaoshuang jumped onto Chongming's back and left without looking back. "Master, what do we do now?" Master Blue Blade sighed, saying, "Since there's no historical remains, let's go out. Bring these two people along, we'll ask them what's going on outside." "Yes, Master." After Sima Yue and the others flew far away, Han Miaoshuang couldn't hold back her curiosity, saying, "Junior sister, you're just going to give them away like that? Aren't we going to interrogate them ourselves? These people are all death warriors. Even if we interrogate them, we won't be able to get anything out of them," Sima Yue said. "I've already gotten the information I wanted." "You've already interrogated them? The information from the interrogation might be fake, but their memories won't lie." Sima Yue laughed evilly. "What did you do?" "Actually, it's nothing much. I just used my divine sense to enter their consciousness and walk around. Only someone with your abnormal mental strength would dare to do such a thing." Sima Yue laughed. This was all thanks to the realm she comprehended previously, which allowed her mental strength to increase by quite a bit. She could directly enter a living person's consciousness. Chapter 1144. Then what did you find in those people's sea of consciousness? Zhu Xiaoxiao asked. "They're just small fries. They don't know anything about the organization." Sima Yue frowned. "That organization is very strict. Everyone only listens to the orders of their superiors, and they know very little about what to stop. All the actions could only be known at the time, and they had been wearing masks to isolate the divine sense, so they were not familiar with each other. Only people who spend a lot of time together can tell the difference." "So you're saying that you didn't get any news?" Han Miaoshuang said. "Yes, there are still some details that I need to analyze before I can come to a conclusion," Sima Yue said, "but they do know something about this incident." "What do you have?" "First of all, this Rubik's Cube is controlled by several people. The one that was killed by Little Seven was one of them. If we want to solve this problem once and for all, we have to get rid of all the people who are controlling it," Sima Yue said. "That's easy. As long as he could find them, everything would be settled. What else? Also, it was this organization that was responsible for the killings," Sima Yue said. "They organized a competition called the Immortal Land Massacre. A few groups were sent out to see who could kill the most. As expected, it was done by this organization," Han Miaoshuang said. "Then what happened in Cloud Sea City? Was it done by them as well?" "It's not in their memories," Sima Yue said, "but it's highly possible based on their way of doing things." "Immortal Land Massacre. This is interesting," Jiang Junxian said. "But they shouldn't be just a simple massacre, right? Are they being framed?" "That's right," Sima Yue said. "Different groups set up different forces. The group in our area set up your mythical dragon sect. As for who the others are, these people don't know." "Who exactly is this power? To be able to do something like this, The average power in the inner regions wouldn't be able to do it. Han Miaoshuang said. Everyone was silent. None of them had an answer to this. Let's settle the things here first. We might be able to get more information later. Sima Yue said. This was the only way now. Since they had a target, they also had a direction of action. Once they killed the people controlling the Rubik's Cube, the Rubik's Cube would automatically be broken. From the memories of the man in black, she knew that there were a total of 5 people controlling this place. After entering this place, they were in charge of the east, south, west, and central areas. They had just killed the one in the west, and now there were still those in the east, south, and central areas left. The person in the middle was the strongest, so Sima Yue did not dare to provoke him. She had to deal with the other 3 first. Therefore, in the next few days, Sima Yue and the others managed to get rid of the men in black in the 3 directions, and saved many people from other forces. Some of these forces had been warned by Sima Yue before, but they didn't take heed and were defeated. After being saved by Sima Yue, they felt ashamed. The best that Sima Yue saw were the people from the 100 changing doors. Compared to the other powers, they were still rather calm. However, he still couldn't get rid of those pestering spirit beasts. These spirit beasts are so strange. No matter where we teleport to, they will catch up very quickly. The Wei said. Really, we didn't even see the ruins, and we're being pestered by these spirit beasts. I don't think this is the ruins at all. Little Wei said. Yue is right, this is a fake ruins. It's a pity that we didn't believe her. If it wasn't for her warning us, we would have been killed by those poisons. The Wei said. In the end, we didn't listen to her advice. Little Wei sighed. Luckily we have enough arrays, or else these spirit beasts would be enough for us to deal with. They're here again. Can't they let us catch our breath? Little Wei shouted. They had just come out of the array for a while and hadn't recovered their spirit energy, but these spirit beasts were chasing after them again. They had arrays, but did these spirit beasts have arrays as well? What a pain in the ass. They had already used up all their spirit energy, and now that they had recovered a little, they had used it all to activate the teleportation array. What would they do when they ran out of teleportation arrays? Alright, let's not talk about that. Let's quickly think of a way to get rid of these spirit beasts. The Wei said. How do we get rid of them? If we use a teleportation array to leave, they'll catch up again. Even if we leave again, they'll still catch up. It's useless. We have to think of a way to get rid of them completely. Little Wei said. But these spirit beasts can't be killed. I thought of something, but I don't know if you guys have. The Wei said. What? Rubik's Cube Sky. The Wei said. What? That thing. Isn't that thing already lost? But this and that are too similar. If it's really that thing, then we have to find the person who controls C, or else we won't be able to get rid of these spirit beasts. I also think that these spirit beasts are man-made. Heavens, if it's really that thing, we're in trouble. Once they were targeted by the person who controls the Rubik's Cube Sky, if they didn't get rid of them, things wouldn't end. We still don't know where that person who controls C is. We still have to find him. The Wei said. All right, you guys are the most knowledgeable about this. Tell us how we can find those people. We've already used up all our spirit energy. What can we do even if we find them? If we can't beat them, we'll still die. The Wei's words made everyone silent. That was the truth. Even if they found those people now, they wouldn't be able to beat them and would still die in the end. Little Wei saw something in the bushes and suddenly laughed. Haha, we might not die. What's wrong? Scarlet Bee. Yu's Scarlet Bee. That means she's nearby. Little Wei said excitedly. Isn't it just a junior? Look at how excited you are. Hee, just wait and see. Little Wei said with a smile. They escaped 2 more times, but when the spirit beasts caught up again, they suddenly disappeared. Gone. Looks like the person who controls them has been killed. It must be Yu's doing. Little Wei said. Teacher Little Wei, you really believe in me. The space tunnel opened, and Sima Yue walked out with a few men in black. Yue, it's really you. Little Wei said. I knew it, you would definitely be able to handle this. You guys believe in me too easily. What if I didn't kill that person? Sima Yue said. We still have some understanding of you, Little Wei said. He was referring to the fact that they had broken the array together. Sima Yue threw them to the ground and said, "All right, I'm here to tell you guys something." Chapter 1145. Read 336. Sima Yu's straightforward manner caused the members of the 100 Changing Doors to be stunned. Ahem, what's the matter? De Wei was the first to react and asked. Take a look at these two people. Do you know them? Sima Yue kicked the two people beside her and sent them to De Wei's side. They leaned over and pulled down their masks, shook their heads, and said none. Sima Yue did not find it strange. Since this force was so careful, they probably wouldn't let anyone catch them. Are these the people who control the Rubik's Cube? Little Wei asked. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. They knew about the Rubik's Cube sky? Then it would be easy to deal with what happened next. But when he thought about it, the 100 Changing Gate used to be the founder of array formations. If they didn't know about it, who would? Yes. Sima Yue said. This is also the reason why I'm looking for you. What do you want us to do? I learned from the people I caught before that there are a total of 5 people controlling the Rubik's Cube. They are distributed in the north, south, east, west, and center. The person in the center is the strongest. We can't beat him. Sima Yue said. That's why I want you guys to get rid of that person together. Then the Rubik's Cube will naturally be solved. What about the people in the other 4 directions? We've already taken care of them. Sima Yue said. It's all settled? That's right. You guys are from the south. You guys were the last to be defeated. Sima Yue said. Now we're only left with Central. The people from the 100 Changing Doors were stunned. While they were running for their lives, this guy had secretly saved quite a few people. Little friend, you are truly astonishing. An elder from the 100 Changing Gate said. Since you've already dealt with the north, south, east, and west, then leave the middle to us. Sima Yue smiled lightly, saying, all right. With a sect, she wouldn't need to do anything. The reason why the 100 Changing Doors had been so passive before was because they didn't know what this place was. Now that they knew, it was time to take the initiative. She took out a few pills and explained. These are pills for recovering spirit energy. The people from the 100 Changing Doors had already used up most of their pills. Just as they were worrying about the pills, they didn't expect Sima Yue to deliver them. Since little friend has pills, we won't be courteous. That elder said. How can I not recover my spiritual energy to deal with that man in black? Sima Yue said with a smile. They ate the pills and sat down to recover their spirit energy. Sima Yue, Little 7, Qing Yi, and the rest were chatting a little further away. After a while, Big Wei, Little Wei, and the elder walked over. Teacher Big Wei, Little Wei. Sima Yue stood up. Although their last meeting at the academy had been rather unpleasant, from the way he interacted with the 100 Changing Doors, he could tell that they did not spread the news that the formation book was in his possession. Yu, this is our elder, Elder He. Big Wei said. Nice to meet you, Elder He. Sima Yue bowed to He Ming. Yu, little friend, it's all thanks to you this time. If you didn't get rid of the person controlling us, who knows what would have happened to us? He Ming looked like the Maitreya Buddha, and even when he smiled, he looked like he was not affected at all by the previous incident. You're too kind, Elder He. We're looking for you this time because we have some matters. Elder He said, Big Wei, I think it's better if you say it. Sima Yue looked at him and blinked. Why did the 3 of them look a little embarrassed? Yu, aren't you a pill master? Do you have any extra pills? In the end, it was Little Wei who spoke. Pills. Yes, we've almost used up all our pills to recover our spirit energy. We don't know how long we'll have to stay here. So if you have any extra pills, can you sell some to us? Little Wei said. Once he opened his mouth, it wasn't that difficult to say. But he still felt a little embarrassed. Sima Yue thought it was something serious, but it was just about pills. She took out a pile of pills and said, You can take these. I don't have many other things, but I have quite a few pills. Cough cough, we have a lot of people. It meant that these weren't enough. Then I'll refine some more. Sima Yue said. She winked at Big Wei and Little Wei, as a way of thanking them for keeping it a secret. We'll give you some compensation. He Ming said, we'll pay according to the price of the pills outside. Sima Yue thought about it. If she didn't ask for money, they might feel uncomfortable. So she nodded and said, okay, I'll get my seniors to refine it together. Han Miaoshuang and the others were nearby. When they heard Sima Yue's news, they rushed over. They thought that something had happened, but when they found out that it was just refining pills, they lost interest. Sima Yue pulled them to the side and said, do you know the 100 changing doors? I know, isn't it the founder of arrays? Han Miaoshuang said, you mean Teacher Big Wei and the others? That's right, they're from the 100 changing doors. If we refine pills for them, not only can we get money, we can also build a good relationship with the sect. Why not? Sima Yue said. Thinking about it, the three of them agreed without hesitation. Actually, Su Xiaoxiao and Han Miaoshuang agreed. Jiang Junxian, who wasn't interested in anything, was threatened by Han Miaoshuang. They spent a day refining hundreds of pills for the 100 changing doors. A large sum of money came in. People like the 100 changing doors didn't lack money. Because it wasn't enough, they agreed to go out and continue refining. Now they were going to deal with the people controlling the Rubik's Cube. With the 100 changing doors taking action, Sima Yue could only watch from the back. The people from the 100 changing doors almost died previously, so they had a belly full of anger. Since they knew the source, it was much easier to get rid of them. With the scroll, it wasn't difficult to find the black-robed man. They quickly locked onto his position. Seeing the 100 changing doors people setting up the array, Sima Yue felt like her horizons had been broadened. The sect of the founder of this array formation was indeed different. Their array formations were set up faster and more stable than others. Seeing Sima Yue staring at them fixedly as they set up the array, He Ming raised his Maitreya Buddha smile and tempted. You little friend, are you interested in joining my 100 changing doors? If you join us, you can learn many ways to set up arrays. Sima Yue chuckled and said, I'm used to being free. Large sects have many rules. It might not be suitable for me to join. Big Wei and Little Wei were at the side. When they heard her, they looked at each other and shook their heads helplessly. Chapter 1146. After the array formation was set up, He Ming chose some of the stronger people to go over first, and the rest would catch up later. Sima Yue and the rest were naturally the first to go over. When they came out of the array, she admired the 100 changing doors even more. Their grasp of spatial positioning was too good. The last time she went to save the heroic sword sect, she was almost 100 miles away. But look at him, he came out just a kilometer away from those people. Moreover, she believed that they had deliberately chosen this location to avoid being attacked by those men in black as soon as they came out. As soon as the 100 changing doors people come out, they attack those black-clothed people. Although the black-robed men were very good at controlling space, they didn't have much of an advantage in a fight. They needed a certain amount of time and a quiet environment to make things. The current situation clearly did not meet the requirements. However, the black-clothed men were not to be trifled with, especially the black-clothed man in the middle. He was even stronger. Otherwise, he wouldn't be the main controller. Give me some time. Sima Yue recognized the hoarse voice immediately. It was the person who had spoken at the entrance. The black-robed men understood that by stalling for time, he meant to let him create those undead spirit beasts. They attacked the 100 changing doors, vowing to stall for time. Sima Yue and the rest were at the back. They knew that something was wrong and hurriedly threw thunderbolt grenades over. What a joke. If those undead spirit beasts were created, they would probably fall into a bitter battle again. Those people were strong, but the power of the thunderbolt bullet was not weak either. Especially since Sima Yue's strength had increased, the power of the thunderbolt bullet had increased exponentially. Although the black-clothed man was not killed by the explosion, many of the people around him were injured. Furthermore, his actions were interrupted. If he wanted to create spirit beasts, he would have to start from scratch. The black-clothed man was so angry that he vomited blood. But now was not the time for him to be depressed. There were so many people in the 100 changing door, and there were still people coming over. If he could not create a spirit beast, then the ones to die today would definitely be them. The other black-clothed men also understood this, so even if they were injured, they still fought with their injuries in order to stall for time. Sima Yue saw that a single thunderbolt bomb was not enough to stop them. She took out a few more and gave them to Han Miao Shuang, Little Seven and the others, throwing one each over. Boom! Boom! The consecutive explosions disrupted the man in black's actions. He was already suffering from internal injuries. Looking at Sima Yue and the rest, he decided to give up on his original plan and deal with them first. Otherwise, if he were to do it again just as he was about to succeed, he would probably suffer more than just internal injuries. Little Seven saw the black-robed man flying towards them, and was about to get up to greet him when Ming suddenly appeared in the middle, and looked at the black-robed man with a smile. Where are you going? Come, let's talk about life. Let's not look for those juniors. After saying that, he started fighting with the black-clothed man. Sima Yue looked at Ming. Although Ming was slightly weaker than the black-clothed man, he was very powerful in space. With the help of teleportation and spatial lockdown, the black-clothed man did not have the upper hand at all. The battle lasted for more than 2 hours. Sima Yue and the rest did not make a move. Occasionally, there were people who came to them, but they were all taken care of by Little Seven, Hua Hua, and Little Dream. Explode! Ming roared. Sima Yue looked over and saw the space around the black-clothed man explode. He turned into a ball of blood. Don't smash his head. She rushed over and saw the blurry ball of blood. She wanted to beat her chest and stomp her feet. Ming did not know why she was so agitated. He flew down and said, Yue, my little friend, what's wrong? You turned him into a ball of blood. That means his memory is gone. Sima Yue said regretfully. It was not easy to meet a high-level one. She thought that he would be able to get more information, but in the end he turned into nothing. Why didn't you say so earlier? Ming looked at Sima Yue's agitated expression and laughed. He said that he would go and take a look at the others and ran away. When the black-clothed man died, the Rubik's Cube stopped moving. Everyone's surroundings changed. They were still in the hills. There was no such thing as historical remains. No matter if it was the human clan, ghost clan or demon clan, they finally understood that everything was just a trap. Some of the people who came out earlier had already left. Some were still waiting. For example, the people from the heroic sword sect. When they saw Sima Yue come out, they were relieved. However, they did not rush forward. Many of them did not understand the situation. They began to ask the people around them what was going on. After some explanation, everyone knew that they had just walked through the gates of hell. Miss Sima, we will remember your kindness today. If there is a chance in the future, we will repay you. Goodbye. Many of them cupped their hands towards Sima Yue before turning to leave. Of course, the people from the Demon Clan and Ghost Clan did not accept her kindness. They all left after understanding the situation. Only Deja's group remained in the distance. Blue Blade and the rest walked over. They looked at Sima Yue gratefully. Yue, thank you for this. I know what you want to say, so you don't have to say it. If there is anything in the future, I will get it back from you. Sima Yue said. That's good. Then we will take our leave. The people from the heroic sword sect were waiting for her. Seeing that she was safe, there was no need for them to stay. Very quickly, most of them had left. Only the people from the 100 changing doors and Ghost Clan were left. Ming, Big Wei and Little Wei walked over. They looked at Sima Yue without saying a word. I will not give that thing to you. Sima Yue said. Just because I saved you guys, you should give it to me, right? Hee, we did not say that we want the Rubik's Cube. Ming laughed. Sima Yue subconsciously took a step back and said. Then why are you staring at me like that? You are making me nervous. He had always looked amiable. How could he make people panic? Could it be that his smile was not sincere enough? It should be. Thus he made his smile even deeper. However, Sima Yue saw him like that, and immediately turned around to run. She ran behind Qing Yi and Little Seven and stuck her head out to look at him. He Ming could not even maintain his smile. He looked at Sima Yue with resentment. Why was this girl so afraid of him? This was not normal. What do you want? Sima Yue looked at him cautiously. When she saw him approaching, she quickly waved her hand and said, "Don't come over. If there is anything, just say it over there." That action, that gaze, He Ming was completely hurt. Big Wei and Little Wei saw her like that, and lowered their heads to fake a cough. They had already said that it was useless. The elder did not believe them, and insisted on coming over personally. See, now he was hurt. Chapter 1147. He Ming felt that he was no longer just injured, but seriously injured. Sima Yue looked at him, and felt that she had overreacted. She coughed twice and said, "Well, Elder He, if you have anything to say, just say it. I actually just wanted to ask you, do you want to join our 100 changing doors?" He Ming said resentfully. "Ahem, we've already discussed this question inside. My answer remains the same. Thank you for your kindness, Elder He, but Yue is really not suitable to join such a big sect." Sima Yue declined politely. "Are you really not going to consider it?" He Ming was not willing to give up and tried to persuade him. "I really won't consider it," Sima Yue said. "Elder He, the other powers have already left, aren't you worried? If the opportunity is snatched away by someone else, it won't be worth it." "Humph, don't think that I don't know that you're chasing us away," He Ming said. "But forget it, since you don't mean it, I won't force you. However, if you have time in the future, remember to visit the 100 changing doors." Sima Yue's mouth twitched. If he went to the 100 changing doors, it wouldn't be fun anymore. "All right, I'll definitely go and take a look if I have the chance," she replied with a smile. He Ming looked at the ghost clansmen in the distance and said, "They seem to be waiting for you. The ghost clansmen are not good people. Do you want to come with us?" "No need." Sima Yue shook her head. "I have something to settle with them." "All right then. Be careful. Let's go." He Ming led the 100 changing doors men away. In a moment, only Yu and the ghost clansmen were left. Deja looked at Sima Yue and stood still. Sima Yue saw that they were not moving and looked at them cautiously. However, after 10 minutes, those people still did not move. It did not seem like they were going to leave or come over. "Master, are you going to acknowledge her now?" the person behind Deja asked. Deja looked at Sima Yue. He was in a dilemma. Should he confirm her identity now? That was what he thought. However, when he thought about what had happened in Bright Red Mountain Peak, he hesitated. Besides, how was he going to tell her that he was her brother? Because of his past experiences, he wasn't close to his peers in the family, let alone those who were related to him by blood. Now that he was asked to get close to someone, he felt that he couldn't speak. However, this person was his aunt's daughter, and he really wanted to talk to her. "Master?" Deja sighed, waved his hand and said, "Let's go." Sima Yue looked at Deja, thinking about how she could snatch the 100 ghost banner from him. Just as she was about to look for him, he left with the ghost clan. "Yu, they left," Little Seven said. "I know. I saw it. Then should we give chase?" Sima Yue thought about it, but gave up in the end. She only let Qifeng keep an eye on their whereabouts. She didn't have absolute confidence that she could make Deja hand over the 100 ghost banner. If she went head-to-head, she might not win. Anyway, there was still a long time. She could take it slow. Right now she was still thinking about the Rubik's sky. When Deja and the rest were far away, she jumped to the entrance and removed the array, revealing Little Rock and Thousand Resonance. "Did anything happen to you guys?" Little Rock and the rest stood up and said, "We're fine. Almost no one noticed us, except for that ghost clan just now." "The ghost clan noticed you guys?" "There was one person who was very strong. It was the one who left a mark on your body. He used his divine sense to scan us, but he didn't say anything. It was as if he didn't notice us," Little Rock said. "Then how do you know that he noticed you guys?" Little Seven jumped down and asked. "When his divine sense swept through this area, it stopped on us for a moment. He should have noticed us." Thousand Resonance said. That guy almost killed you before. This time he noticed you guys. Why didn't he do anything? This is too strange. Little Seven said. It's not just that. Sima Yue squinted her eyes. When we met them this time, everything was strange. It was as if it was different from the last time. But what's different? I can't put my finger on it. Their eyes. Thousand Resonance said. I thought about it carefully. When we were at Bright Red Mountain Peak, they looked at us as if they were looking at prey or dead people. There was no warmth in their eyes. But this time, when they saw you, their eyes were different. Especially the one in the middle. When he looked at you, it was as if he was looking at family? After hearing what Thousand Resonance said, Sima Yue felt the same way too. But why? Could it be that what she thought was true? That the ghost clan in her body was related to him? When he lands in my hands, I must ask him properly. Let's not think about this now. Let's take a look at the Rubik's sky first. Sima Yue rubbed her palms together as she walked to the side of the Rubik's sky. She walked a few rounds around the 2-meter-wide turntable. Previously, she did not study this properly. She only thought of a way to open it. Now she had the time to study this properly. This thing had been lost for a long time. Even the 100 changing doors did not have it. This showed how precious this thing was. This thing is huge, Little Seven said. Other than that, what other uses does this Rubik's space have? Didn't you read the book? This thing has a lot of uses. But we have to study it properly before we know what uses it has. Sima Yue said. But that ancient book did not explain it in detail. Hence, it was useless for her to have it now. But now was not the time to study it. With a thought, she kept this thing into her spirit pagoda. Ew, where are we going now? Little Seven asked. Sima Yue looked in the direction that Dija and the rest left and said, Senior brother, senior sister, I have to settle some personal matters. You guys? Are you going to find the ghost clan? Sima Yue nodded. Han Miaoshuang wanted to go with her. But Jiang Junxian spoke first. We also want to go to other places to see if there are any opportunities. Let's part ways here. All right. If there's anything, remember to contact me. Sima Yue looked at Jiang Junxian gratefully. She wanted to find Dija alone. She wanted to clarify the guess in her heart. Jiang Junxian saw through it. That was why he said that. Han Miaoshuang saw that Jiang Junxian had agreed. She nodded in agreement. She looked at Sima Yue and said, You have to be careful too. I will. The three of them left. Sima Yue brought Little Seven and the rest and flew in the direction that Dija and the rest left. Yu, why didn't you let Miaoshuang and the rest follow you? Little Seven asked. Because there are some things that will bring them danger if they know about it. Sima Yue murmured. Chapter 1148. Her intuition told her that the person who almost killed her was too dangerous. If he let senior sister and the others follow him, he didn't know what would happen. On the other hand, Dija and the others who were far ahead of them noticed that Sima Yue was following them. Master, Mrs. Bees are following us. The ghost master waved his hand, and a few scarlet bees were sucked out. Although they could suppress their spiritual power, it was not easy to hide things with vitality in front of the ghost clan, not to mention a powerful person like the ghost master. Dija looked at the scarlet bees and seemed to see Sima Yue's familiar face. He hesitated and said, Kill them. Master? The guard behind him called out. This was the pet of his favorite aunt's daughter. How could he kill it just like that? On the other hand, Dija seemed to have understood something. He regained his usual calmness and ruthlessness. Let's not let her know that we're going to do that. As he spoke, he released a burst of spirit energy, killing all of the scarlet bees. Let's go. We must find that place before the Wonderland closes. They continued on their way, leaving behind the corpses of the scarlet bees. After a while, Sima Yue and Little Seven came to the scarlet bees. They're not dead yet, Qingyi said. Sima Yue could sense that they were still alive. They were probably just knocked out by the aura of death. She kept the scarlet bees back into her spirit pagoda. Looking at Dija's attitude, her guess became more and more certain. According to the grudges of Bright Red Mountain Peak, Deja and the others should have wanted to kill him when they saw him. However, they didn't do anything. They even spared Scarlet Bee's life when they found out that he was following them. If it wasn't for the conjecture in her heart, she couldn't think of any other reason why he would do this. That place, where is it? Did they come here for some other purpose? She couldn't think of an answer because she didn't know what they were going to do next. The Scarlet Bees were discovered by them. I don't know where they went. Little Seven said, then we won't be able to get the 100 Ghost Banner. Enlin said that the 100 Ghost Banner had to be in her hands. Now that she didn't know where the members of the Ghost Clan had gone, how was she going to snatch it? Qingyi saw the slight disappointment on Little Seven's face and said, I can roughly determine the direction, but it might not be very accurate. But the general direction should be right. Really? Why didn't I know that you have the ability to track people? Little Seven held on to Qingyi's arm and asked, how would I know how to track? Qingyi said, it's just that they're from the Ghost Clan and have the aura of death on them. Wherever they pass by, they leave behind some aura. I can sense a faint aura of death. If it was a human, he might not be able to do it, but the Tree of Life was naturally sensitive to life and death energy, so it could sense it. If there were other Ghost Clansmen appearing at the same time, he might not be able to do it. Thank you, Sima Yue said gratefully. With Qingyi's guidance, Sima Yue ordered Chongming to continue searching for them. A day or two later, they ran into trouble. What happened? There were two groups of Ghost Clansmen that went their separate ways. I don't know who they are either. Qingyi pointed in two directions. Sima Yue looked around. The two directions weren't very far, but if they looked in the wrong direction, it would be almost impossible to find them again. She randomly pointed in a direction and said, go this way. She wasn't sure if this direction was right, but she could only try. Reality proved that her intuition was wrong. The group of Ghost Clansmen that they caught up with was not Deja and the rest. When those Ghost Clansmen saw Sima Yue and felt her delicious soul, they were all moved. This human's soul is so fragrant. Prince, we'll go and bring her soul over to you. The guards beside the 15th prince saw him drooling when he saw Sima Yue, and all of them flattered him. All right. The 15th prince wiped the saliva from the side of his mouth. I've never seen such a fragrant soul in the ghost realm. A little boy beside the 15th prince looked at Sima Yue and said, Prince, this person is the child of a ghost clan and a human clan. Is that so? I was wondering why this soul is so fragrant. The 15th prince felt that he couldn't control himself anymore. He wanted to eat her up immediately. Prince will go and kill her now, those guards said as they flew towards Sima Yue. Wait. The little boy stopped them. Wu-yi, if you have anything to say it later. The 15th prince said impatiently. Prince, I felt an aura similar to yours from that person. Di Wu-yi said. Oh. The 15th prince turned his gaze towards Sima Yue. He really couldn't resist her deliciousness and said, don't talk about similar, even if she's my biological sister, I'll eat her up today. Hurry up and go. Yes, Prince. Those guards flew away. Di Wu-yi still wanted to stop them. To have an aura similar to the prince and to be the descendant of a ghost clan. Her identity was obvious. Someone beside Di Wu-yi pulled him and said, Wu-yi, don't you know the prince's character? Just like what he said. Even if she's his biological sister, he'll eat her up. If she's really his biological sister, I'm afraid she would have been killed when she was born. Di Wu-yi thought about it and agreed. He really couldn't understand why the family would choose such a person to support, and even want him to follow him. Sima Yue and the rest saw that these ghosts were not Deja and the rest. Just as they wanted to turn and leave, they saw those ghosts attacking them. Kikik, weak human, our prince has his eyes on your soul. So hand over your soul obediently. Those people laughed weirdly at Sima Yue. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. They wanted to eat her soul? Little Seven, Little Dream and Huahua looked at each other, and saw the anger in each other's eyes. Their master, these people dared to have designs on her? You leave these people to us. Little Dream took a step forward and clasped her hands together. Let's do it too. Little Seven let go of Qing Yi and jumped to Little Dream's side. How can you leave me out of this kind of thing? Hua said. 3 contracted beasts? Although those ghosts were surprised that she had so many contracted beasts, they still didn't think much of her. They had so many people. Were they afraid that they couldn't take her down? Their prince liked delicious souls. Because of this, they killed many ghosts, not to mention the humans they met. These people's eyes are so disgusting. Little Seven said. Let's compete and see who can kill more people. All right. Hua turned her 10 fingers into vines and flirtatious flowers bloomed on them. The person who wins will be Big Sister. Then let's begin. Little Dream finished speaking and took the lead to attack those ghosts. Chapter 1149. The ghosts were still laughing when they heard Hua's bet. These contracted beasts were too naive. You want to kill them? You want to see who can kill the most? You must be dreaming. However, when Hua and the others attacked, they realized that this group of people was not easy to deal with. These 3 people killed people as if they were cutting melons. They were simply 3 life harvesters. Man-eating flower king. Nightmare race. What's the other one? How can he be so powerful? The people from the Ghost clan were obviously frightened by their battle prowess. The first batch of people who went were all killed in a few moves. Hua leaped and landed on a flower. She smiled flirtatiously. Just now, I think I killed the most. Hua, that's because you have a lot of flowers. That might not be the case later on. Little Seven said. She was clearly the strongest, but Flowey had killed so many of them at once. Flowey had killed more than her. She was depressed. That's right. Little Dream looked at those people. It's not the end yet. It's hard to say who will win and who will lose. Then let's continue. When the Ghost clan's people saw that their people were killed, although they were surprised by their strength, they didn't plan to give up. You guys keep going. You must capture that soul for me, the 15th prince said. Yes, your highness. Hua and the others might not have been able to handle it if they had sent everyone at the start. However, if they were to spread out like this, it would give them a chance to take them down one by one. Diwui saw this, although he was unhappy that they did not listen to his advice, but now that the arrow was already on the bow, he had no choice but to release it. He said, everyone attack together. Previously, there were only a few dozen people. Little Dream and the others could deal with them one by one. However, when there were more people, it was difficult for 2 fists to fight against 4 hands. Although they could ensure that they would not be injured, they could not guarantee that those people would not attack Sima Yue. After all, no ordinary person could be the guard of a ghost prince. When Sima Yue saw those people attacking her, she used her mind and her entire body was enveloped in flames. Qing Yi stood at the same spot, and those people could not even get close. The moment they got close to Sima Yue, they were all burned to ashes by her flames. Little birdie, you haven't come out to play for a long time, right? The flames on Sima Yue's body shrunk into a ball and turned into a vermilion bird that landed on her hand. Go, I'll let you have some fun today. As soon as the death race people saw this flame, they felt a terrifying heat and felt a sense of fear from the bottom of their hearts, causing them to instinctively run back. However, little birdie did not give them a chance to escape. Its body expanded infinitely in the wind, turning into a huge bird that covered the sky. In an instant, it enveloped those people. The moment they were touched by the flames, those ghost clan members were turned into ashes. In an instant, over 100 people were gone just like that. The ghost clansmen were so frightened that their faces turned pale. Little birdie, on the other hand, became excited and continued to fly towards the remaining people. Sima Yue watched as those people were engulfed by the flames. They did not even have the time to scream before they died. She sighed as Qi Yin started to recover his strength. Even little birdie's power had increased greatly. Quickly protect the prince. Everyone panicked. This flame was the ghost clan's nemesis, especially the powerful flames. For someone like little birdie, it could be said that they were completely helpless. Di Wui saw this and although he was unwilling, he still stood in front of the 15th prince. The family's orders were to ensure the prince's safety. Although he did not like this prince, he still had to carry out the family's orders. He knew that this flame belonged to Sima Yue. He said, "This human, this is the 15th prince of the ghost realm. Please show mercy. The ghost clan will be eternally grateful." Sima Yue glanced at that prince and said slowly, "The prince of the ghost realm? Are you saying that the people that the prince of the ghost realm has his eyes on should offer their souls? If they are unwilling, they should kill them directly. If they are unable to kill, they should use their identity to suppress them?" Speaking of which, that was indeed the case. Little birdie stopped, as if she was waiting for Sima Yue's instructions. "If it wasn't for the fact that I happen to have something to restrain you guys, would I be killed by you guys and have my soul eaten by him?" Sima Yue asked again, "You want to kill a person but you can't kill him, then you use your identity to suppress him. Do you think this is useful? We were in the wrong previously. We are willing to compensate you." Diwui said. "Compensate?" Sima Yue laughed softly. "I am not interested in other people's things. But if people don't offend me, I won't offend them. If people offend me, I will kill them no matter how far they are. The 15th prince is the Ghost King's most beloved prince. If you kill him, you will definitely anger the Ghost King and receive revenge from the Ghost Clan. Although you have a flame that can restrain us, but you can't win against the entire Ghost Clan," Diwui said. "Even if that happens one day, I will take my revenge today," Sima Yue said. "Are you sure you want to be the enemy of the entire Ghost Clan?" Diwui asked. He secretly activated the spiritual energy in his body. If they really fought, he could gain the upper hand by striking first. "I don't want to be the enemy of the entire Ghost Clan. I am only taking revenge for myself. But if you want to make the entire Ghost Clan my enemy, then I am not afraid. As the saying goes, counter soldiers with arms, water with an earth weir," Sima Yue said. "I noticed you just now. You told them not to take action. Unfortunately, your words carry little weight. This prince did not take you seriously." Diwui's face darkened, but he did not refute. If they had listened to him before, this wouldn't have happened. And the 15th prince who was behind him was so scared that he could not move. The opponent was just one person and a few spiritual beasts. How could they be so powerful? This time they really kicked an iron board. But that person's soul smelled really good. It must be even more delicious. Sima Yue saw that Prince's gaze did not change. What an unrepentant fellow. "Little birdie, treat these people well. Oh, don't kill that person first. I need to keep him alive." Once little birdie received the order, it continued to have fun and burned all the ghost clansmen to ashes. Ah, don't burn me." The 15th prince wanted to resist, but he could not withstand little birdie's power. After a scream, he was burned to ashes too. Little birdie had already passed by Diwui when it passed by it, but it was trapped by it and could not move. In the end, the entire ghost clan was killed. Only Diwui was left. "Little Seven, go and catch him for me. I need him in the future," Sima Yue said. Okay. Diwui alone was not Little Seven's opponent. He was caught very quickly. What's the result? Huahua played with her hair and asked the other two. This competition was interrupted because of Little Birdie. It seemed like the agreement from before was not valid. The three of them thought so. But Little Birdie flew in front of them and blocked their way. Chapter 1150. Read 336. What? Huahua looked at Little Birdie, not knowing why it was blocking their way. Little Birdie spread its wings, raised its head slightly and puffed out its chest. However, Little Dream and the other two still did not understand what she meant. It was Sima Yu who laughed out loud saying, "Little Birdie is saying that it killed the most people." Little Birdie nodded. That was exactly what it meant. Little Seven and the other two's faces instantly darkened. They said that whoever was the most powerful would be the big sister, but this did not include other people. Xiaoming looked at Little Birdie and said indifferently, "Can you transform into a human?" Then he walked around it. Huahua smiled and said, "Are you a girl?" Then he walked around it. Little Seven was still carrying Diwui. "Little Birdie, move away, This is for adults to play, you're still young. Then he walked around it. Little birdie was very sad. They were ignoring her. It flew into Sima Yue's hand and turned into a small bird. Sima Yue patted her head and said, "Be good, don't play with them. Besides, you're not a woman. Do you want to be the big sister?" Little birdie became even more depressed. Even she had said so. Humph, it didn't want to be a girl. But it was a fact that it had killed the most, these women who reneged on their debts. It rubbed against Sima Yue's hand before returning to her body. Really? Little Seven helplessly shook her head and said, Yu, why did you capture this person? Understand the aura of a ghost. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she brought everyone into the spirit pagoda. When the 15th prince died, the ghost master paused and said, "The 15th prince is dead." "That idiot is dead?" Deja was slightly taken aback, but quickly regained his composure and said, "That idiot was always so full of himself. It's good that he's dead. But I wonder who killed him? I should really express my gratitude to that person." The 15th prince was someone he had always wanted to kill. However, not only was he the Ghost King's child, his mother's family was also very strong. And for some unknown reason, even the Diwu family was with them. Therefore, even if he wanted to, he could only endure that idiot. Even if they had met before, he did not dare to make a move. "We'll find out," said the Ghost Master. "How do you know?" The guard behind him asked. "The 15th prince is dead. The Aniheim will definitely know about it. The royal family has a secret method that can send information directly into our minds." The Ghost Master said, "The Aniheim will definitely not let that person go. She will definitely order us to take revenge." Thinking of that secret technique, the Ghost Master's body emitted a chill. Although it disappeared in an instant, Deja still noticed it. Others might not know what it was, but as someone from a family that was related to the royal family, he knew. "Master, don't worry. I will definitely find a part of your soul for you," Deja said. The Ghost Master nodded. People with their strength were not all willing to serve the royal family. Why were there so many of them? It was because a part of their soul was separated, and that part of their soul was secretly imprisoned by the royal family. On one hand, they gave them supreme glory. On the other hand, they used that part of their soul to control them. The Ghost Master was Deja's mother, the personal bodyguard of the Ghost World's eldest princess. He was a person who had lost a part of his soul. In the past, Deja was not valued in the family. However, after Yu Kaluo completely unlocked his talent, he became more and more dazzling in the family. That was why his mother gave the Ghost Master to him to protect him. "Ghost Master, how do you know that the 15th prince is dead?" Someone asked. "When we met before, I left a mark on him. Now that mark has disappeared," said the Ghost Master. The mark disappeared, which meant that the person had completely disappeared. He even dared to kill the Ghost King's favorite, the 15th prince. "Does that person want to pierce through the sky?" Someone said. "Who is it? We will know in a while." The Ghost Master was rarely curious. When they met before, the 15th prince was not only accompanied by the Diwu family, there were also many experts. Their strength could not be said to be weak. However, now that he was killed, he did not know who the other party was. Very quickly, he found out that this was not done by a power, but by someone he knew. Just as he said before, the Ghost Clan quickly found out about the 15th prince's death. The frantic Anaheim used a secret technique to send out the image of the 15th prince's death. She wanted the people in the immortal land to kill these people. He sent out the image. When Deja saw the familiar figures of Sima Yue and Little Seven, he almost fell off the flying beast. How could it be her? Didn't they just separate for 2 days? How could she cause such a big trouble? The Ghost Master was not very surprised. Sima Yue was not far from them. If they met the 15th prince, it was not impossible for her to overtake them. Her soul was very fragrant. The 15th prince who liked to eat souls would not miss her. If they made a move based on her performance in the bright red mountain peak, she would definitely fight back. He knew that she had that flame on her body. With that flame, even the Imperial Guards might not be able to resist it for even half a minute. Furthermore, when he saw the flame in the image, He felt that this flame was more powerful than before. The imperial family has issued a warrant for the ghost clan in the immortal land to join forces to kill her, said the ghost master. So from now on, she might be attacked by many ghost clan. If they do not succeed, the Aniheim might send someone else. Deja closed his eyes and took a deep breath, saying, she should be fine. That's hard to say. The ghost master said, since we already know that she has a flame, if the people in the immortal land can't get rid of her, when the Aniheim sends someone, I'm afraid that there will be a ghost weapon that counters her. When that time comes, she might not be able to resist. This is really troublesome. Deja said, Master, you take some people to protect her. I will continue to look for that place. My task is to protect you. I can't leave you to protect others, said the ghost master. But she is in danger. I can't just stand by and watch. Deja said, but I can't give up the purpose of coming here. Indeed, the ghost master said, but I won't give up my position because of this. Then what should we do? Don't worry. In the beginning, she can still handle it. As long as you can find that place before the Anaheim comes and complete our purpose of coming here, then you can protect her later, said the ghost master. That's the only way. Deja believed that she, who could even kill the 15th prince, would not be killed by the ghost clan. Chapter 1151. Sima Yue did not know about the ghost clan. Even if she knew, she would not take it to heart. Wasn't it just the ghost clan? No matter how many of them came, there was nothing to be afraid of. As long as little birdie was here, they would be completely restrained. She brought Diwu Yi into the spirit pagoda, and little Seven then released him. In here, with little spirit around, even if he wanted to kill himself, it would be impossible. Diwu Yi was shocked when he noticed the change in the environment, but he quickly returned to normal. This woman was indeed not an ordinary person. Thinking about it, if it was an ordinary person, would they be able to kill so many ghost clan experts? What's your name? Sima Yue took out 2 chairs and sat down. She saw Diwu Yi, who was looking at her cautiously. She waved her hand and said, sit. Why did you capture me? Diwu Yi asked, why didn't you kill me? Is it just because I spoke up for her before? Sima Yue saw that he didn't want to sit and didn't force him. She glanced at him and said, do you think it's possible? Diwu Yi shook his head. Impossible. Smart. Sima Yue said, I asked you to stay because I want to ask you something. What are you asking me about? Diwu Yi looked at her scheming face and instinctively put up his guard, saying, if you want me to betray my family, that's impossible. Your family? I don't even know your name. Why would I want you to betray your family? Sima Yue asked. Then what do you want to ask? Answer me first. What's your name? Do you want me to keep calling you hey hey hey? Sima Yue asked. Diwu Yi. 5th, it's rare for you to do something like this. Sima Yue said, your family isn't royalty, right? If that was the case, he would not have gone to protect the prince. The royal family's surname is Yu. Diwu Yi said, the prince you killed is called Yu Du. Oh, does he have a high status in the royal family? Yes, his mother, Aniheim's family is very powerful, and my king is very fond of him. If you kill him now, they won't let you go. Diwu Yi said. They won't let you off either, right? Sima Yue looked at him. You were ordered to protect him, but you could do nothing as he died in front of you. The royal family and your family won't let you go, right? Diwu Yi looked at Sima Yue and said angrily, it's all your fault. It's my fault, but you're not angry, isn't it? Sima Yue said with a smile. Diwu Yi did not expect her to see through his thoughts, and was stunned for a moment. Nonsense, he denied, but his voice was not very confident. Am I spouting nonsense? Sima Yue said. Although your eyes look very angry, angry that I killed your master, there is no sadness in your eyes. There is even a kind of relief. Am I right? Diwu Yi was silent. Sima Yue smiled and continued. You didn't want to follow that prince, you followed him because of your family's orders. You even wanted to kill him, but you didn't dare. What are you trying to say? Di Wui did not like the feeling of being seen through, and looked at her cautiously. What I want to say is actually very simple. Since you wanted to kill him, I helped you to kill him, so you don't have to look at me as if you have a deep hatred. Sima Yue said. Di Wui was silent again, and Sima Yue did not rush him. I'm already betraying my family by doing this. After being silent for a while he said, but I really can't stand 15th Prince's behavior. I don't understand why my family wants to get involved with them, and I don't care. But I can't stand their arrangement to let my family members protect him. Do you know, originally, with my ability, I wasn't supposed to protect him, but because he likes to tease me, he appointed me to protect him. Every time I see him doing those things, even if I'm also from the Ghost Clan, I can't stand it. A person like him shouldn't be alive. Sima Yue saw that he was so angry. It seemed like this person was really a scumbag. Now that you've killed him, then please kill me too, Di Wui said. Or else, my family will have to bear the wrath of the royal family because of me. You want to die so badly? Sima Yue looked at him. Since your family can be with the royal family, it means that your family's ability is not weak. Would the royal family dare to exterminate your family because of your dereliction of duty? I don't think so. But I can't go back anymore. Di Wui said. There's no difference between me being alive and being dead. The funny thing is, I once thought of killing him and then committing suicide, but I didn't have the courage. Why would you commit suicide when you're living well? Sima Yue said. It's a good thing to cherish life. What's there to be ashamed of? Di Wui looked at her in shock. She was the first to tell him that there was nothing to be ashamed of. This was totally different from what he had been taught in the past. What's there to be surprised about? Sima Yue looked at his shocked expression, looking at him pitifully. But I still can't go back. You don't look like a ruthless person, so you... Di Wui smiled bitterly. No matter what, he couldn't go back to the ghost realm, much less his family. He didn't have the courage to commit suicide. He could only place his hopes on her. Don't worry. I won't kill you, Sima Yue said. Just stay here and tell me what you want to know. Isn't this what you want to know? Di Wui asked. This is all about you. Before I met you, I didn't even know about your existence. Why would I care about your matters? Sima Yue said. Then what do you want to know? I saw what you said to that prince. Sima Yue said. You said that I have a similar aura to him. Di Wui looked at her. She heard it from such a far distance? I can read the shape of your lips. Sima Yue said. What do you mean by a similar aura? You have the aura of the Ghost Clan, Di Wui said. You're definitely not referring to this. If not, you wouldn't say it's similar. You're saying that I have the aura of the Ghost Clan, Sima Yue said. I'm not sure, Di Wui said. It's just a guess. What guess? Tell me. You have the royal bloodline, Di Wui said. Royal bloodline? She recalled a long time ago, when she was in Yiling Continent, when she entered Dragon Reflection Mountain. She once scared away an underworld beast. If she wasn't from the Ghost Realm's royal family, how could she have such power? As it turned out, she should have guessed a little about her background a long time ago. Chapter 1152. Read 336. If she had the blood of the Ghost Clan's royal family, then wouldn't her mother be a member of the royal family? Di Wui saw that she was deep in thought and said, Actually, you're still young. There aren't many royals who came to the human race this year, and even fewer princesses. Overall, there are only a few of them, so it's easier to guess. You know? Sima Yue asked. I want to protect the 15th prince, so I naturally know a little about the royal family. If you are under 50 years old, then your mother is most likely the Dark Princess, because she was the only one who came to the human realm in the past 50 years. If you're between 50 and 100 years old, you might be one of the other 3 princesses. Dark Princess. Yes, Dark Princess Yukuluo. She is a legendary princess with both beauty and wisdom, but unfortunately, Di Wui nodded, his eyes filled with sadness. She was also his goddess, but unfortunately, her whereabouts were unknown. Dark Princess Yukuluo. Sima Yu muttered her name a few times in her heart. This was the first time she heard about her mother. If this dark princess was really her mother, then it would be. Both of them fell into silence. Di Wui returned to reality from his memory, and saw the faint smile on her lips. He said, "You're not even 50 years old yet?" Sima Yue nodded. "Then you are really the daughter of the Dark Princess." Di Wui had a faint bitterness in his mouth. She really had a child with someone else in the human realm. "May I know your name?" Sima Yue. Sima Yue came back to her senses and realized that the way he looked at her seemed a little different. "Sima Yue. That man's surname was Sima? You don't want your child to have your surname?" Sima Yue looked at Di Wui's strange expression and said, "You know my mother?" "I know her, she might not remember me anymore," Di Wui said. "What do you mean?" Di Wui was once again immersed in his memories, recalling the few times he had met her. He was chosen to be Yudu's personal guard so that he could fool him at any time. Although they were from the same generation, his talent was higher than Yudu's, and his strength was also higher. Because of the power of the Diwu family, Yudu did not dare to kill him, but he still insulted him from time to time. He had heard many things about Dark Princess Yukuluo, but the first time he saw her was when he became a guard for 2 years. At that time, because he was unwilling to kill a child for Yudu, Yudu ordered people to strip him naked and hang him on the path to the palace. Everyone who passed by looked at him with disdain and ridicule. Some people even stopped to watch how he was being teased. Only Yukuluo stopped and ordered people to let him go. If it was someone else, Yudu might not even care, but he was afraid of Yukuluo. He did not know what had happened between them, but he was afraid of her to the bone. Once she spoke, Yudu immediately ordered people to let him go. He still remembered that when he came down, he was already very weak. In a daze, he saw her walking over, squatting beside him and giving him a pill, saying, "Go back and have a good rest. You'll be fine soon." He still remembered that her voice was so gentle, and it made his cold heart feel warm. If she did not comfort him at that time, he reckoned that he would not be able to hold on at that time. He could not hear clearly what she ordered Yudu after that, but it should be related to him, because from then on, Yudu did not torture him as much. In the days after that, he followed Yudu around the palace. He saw her from afar a few times, but they did not interact with each other. He thought that she had already forgotten about him, because the way she looked at him from behind was so unfamiliar. But thinking about it, she was so dazzling, and he was so ordinary. How could she remember him? But no matter whether she remembered him or not, it would not affect his heart and feelings for her. Even though those feelings were so humble. Sima Yue heard him reminiscing as he spoke, and she more or less understood his feelings. She did not expect her mother to be so charming. She wondered how her father managed to win her mother's heart back then. She then asked him to tell her many things about her mother, about how she was extremely talented, how she was very powerful, and how she dared to kill the spiritual beasts at the river Styx alone. Those things made Sima Yue feel that her mother was too awesome. If her mother was the Dark Princess, the king's youngest daughter, then she would be. Di Wui talked a lot about Yukuluo. The relationship between the two of them was slowly changing. At least, he did not hate her as much anymore. As the two of them chatted, the other party moved to the stone table in the courtyard, and there was a pot of tea on the table. "Oh right, do you know someone from the Ghost clan?" Sima Yue asked. "Who?" Sima Yue did not know Dija's name, and described his appearance. "There's a very powerful person beside him, and that person has always been hiding in the cloak." Di Wui could roughly guess who it was, and seeing her nod, he said, "You should be talking about young Master Dija from the Di family." Dija? Sima Yue frowned. They had different surnames. Could they be relatives? "Speaking of which, young Master Dija and you are cousins." Di Wui answered the question she did not ask, and said, "Young Master Dija's mother is a princess from the royal family, and he calls your mother his aunt. I heard that young Master Dija is also a ruthless person, but he has a very good relationship with the Dark Princess, and he is closer to her than to his own mother. There are even rumors that he is plotting to find your mother." They were indeed relatives. He must have noticed that her aura was similar to Yukuluo's, and knew that she was his cousin, so his attitude changed completely. "Where is my mother now?" Sima Yue asked. Di Wui shook his head and said, I don't know about this, I only know that something big happened that year, and many people from the ghost clan went to the human realm to bring your mother back, but I don't know what happened after that. And since then, no one has seen your mother again. Mother's whereabouts are unknown, just like father. Is there any news about my mother? She curled her body into the chair and hugged her knees with both hands, feeling a little heartache. What exactly happened that year that caused her father and mother's whereabouts to be unknown? No. But young Master Deja might know something, because there are rumors that he obtained the 100 Ghost Banner and is preparing to use that to save your mother. Chapter 1153. Read 336. Sima Yue was completely stunned. Deja had done so much for his mother? Lin said that the 100 Ghost Banner had to be in his hands. Could it be that he also knew about this? Di Wui looked at Sima Yue and was confused. He asked, Have you met young Master Deja before? Yes. Sima Yue nodded. Not only had she met him, but she had also experienced many things. Did something bad happen? Di Wui asked. Sigh, Sima Yue sighed. It's not just bad, we even fought each other. How is this possible? Di Wui shouted in shock. If you're the daughter of the Dark Princess, he wouldn't kill you. Even I can sense your aura, so there's no way the Ghost Master wouldn't know. At that time, my ghost bloodline had not been fully activated and was sealed. Sima Yue said. I was almost killed by that Ghost Master, but because of this, his bloodline was stimulated. So they recognized you this time? Yes. I was wondering why their attitudes changed so drastically when we met in the Immortal Land. Sima Yue said. I once heard from you that Deja was not valued at home, and was even bullied. It was your mother who changed his fate. So no matter what he has become, he still treats your mother the same as before, Di Wui said. Sigh. Sima Yue hesitated. What happened? Sima Yue glanced at Di Wui. Since she did not plan to let him out, she might as well share her troubles with him. Do you know human diviners? She asked. I know there are some in the ghost realm too. It's just that your human realm usually only talks about your human race's matters. Our ghost race only talks about our ghost race's matters, Di Wui said. If the human race can predict the affairs of the ghost race, can the ghost race predict the affairs of the human race? Sima Yue asked. I can predict it, but I can't say it, and I won't say it, unless this matter is related to humans and spirits, Di Wui said. Why did you meet a divinator? Yes. When I came in, Lin told me to get the 100 Ghost Banner. Lin? Does your human race have the sect master of divinator now? Di Wui asked. You know him too? Not really, but because he is very famous, even in the world of spirits and souls, we have heard of his name. It is said that he is the most powerful divinator in your human race for tens of thousands of years. Di Wui said. If he told you that, there must be a reason behind it. I think so too. Sima Yue said. I didn't know why before, but now I know. Then what are you struggling with? If what you said is right, he is planning to use this to save my mother. Sima Yue said. If I snatch this away, then he can't use this to save my mother. But, if it was Lin who said it, then it should be reasonable. Whatever he said would come true, or else his reputation wouldn't spread to the world of spirits and souls, Di Wui said. But I don't know when I can go to the world of spirits and souls. If the 100 Ghost Banner is in my hands, my mother will have to suffer for one more day if I don't go to the world of spirits and souls. Sima Yue didn't want to snatch the 100 Ghost Banner anymore. But what if the 100 Ghosts Banner isn't the most important thing to save your mother? Or, even if young Master Deja has this, he won't be able to save your mother. Instead, he will lose his life for nothing? Di Wui said. It's better to believe in the divinator's words than not. I know, but I'll go out and ask Lin, see if I can find out my mother's whereabouts. Sima Yue said. Di Wui was right. Since Lin asked her to do so, there should be a reason behind it. Since that was the case, he would ask Deja what exactly was going on when he found him. Although you have that powerful flame, but you are in a more dangerous situation now. If you have the 100 ghost banner, it will be better, Di Wui said. Sima Yue looked at him in confusion. Don't tell me you think that after you kill Yu Du, this matter will be over? Di Wui was choked by her ignorant expression. What? I said before, Yu Du's mother's family is very powerful. Half of the reason why the Ghost King dotes on her is because of this. Di Wui said. And Aniheim and the Ghost King doted on Yu Du. Now that she is dead, they will definitely ask the Ghost Clan to kill you. She will use a secret method to obtain your information and pass it to the Ghost Clan. So you should be a popular person in the Ghost Clan now. Di Wui saw that her expression did not change and said, Aren't you worried? Isn't it useless to worry? Sima Yue put down her legs, picked up the teacup on the table and took a sip. At least now, those powerful people from the Ghost Clan can't come. Those small soldiers, I don't have to worry. What courage! Just like her in the past. You said before that my mother is the Ghost King's favorite daughter, and also said that Yu Du is very doted on. Then in comparison, who does the Ghost King like more? Of course it's the Dark Princess. Di Wui said. But now the Dark Princess is not here, and Aniheim is so powerful, so your situation is still very dangerous. And what? After that incident, the Ghost King did not allow anyone to mention the Dark Princess. If it was in the past, he might protect you after knowing your identity, but now, it might make things worse. Di Wui said. I'll kill whoever comes, I'll kill whoever comes. My Yue can do whatever she wants. A domineering voice was heard. Sima Yue's eyes were filled with surprise. She turned around and saw that Wu Lingyu had woken up. She immediately jumped up from the chair and threw herself into Wu Lingyu's arms, saying, You're finally awake. If you didn't wake up, I would have been scared to death. I'm so happy to see you so excited. Wu Lingyu hugged Sima Yue. His lips curled into a charming smile. Are you completely recovered now? Let me check for you. Sima Yue said as she wanted to take his pulse. Wu Lingyu grabbed her hand lightly, not allowing her to take his pulse. It's still considered a reunion. Don't do those disappointing things. Is your body still not fully recovered? Sima Yue asked worriedly. I won't hide it from you. That's not a small injury. I'll take my time to recuperate. But it's not a problem for now. Wu Lingyu said. If he kept saying that he was fine, she might be very worried, but now that he said it, she felt much more relieved. Wu Lingyu led her to the table and sat down. He sat beside her and asked, What were you talking about just now? How did you offend the Ghost Clan? Chapter 1154. Read 336. I killed one of my uncles. Sima Yue said with a smile. People from the Ghost Clan? Wu Lingyu asked. Yes. Sima Yue smiled. The royal family of the Ghost Clan. I heard that her family is very powerful and wants to take revenge on me. He wants to mobilize the entire Ghost Realm. Oh. Wu Lingyu raised her eyebrows. When I wasn't around, you were quite crazy. He wants to eat my soul, so he asked his subordinates to kill me and collect my soul. Sima Yue said. Daring to eat his Yu? So be it. Even if the Ghost King comes and wants to kill you, you should kill him. If anything happens, I'll take care of it for you, Wu Lingyu said. Sima Yue smiled widely. She knew that he would stand behind her no matter what she did. Di Wui looked at Wu Lingyu in astonishment. Although he knew about their relationship, he did not expect him to pamper her so much. If it was him, would he be able to do it? The first thing she should be thinking about was what kind of trouble she would bring her. And then? Are you starting to think about how you're going to distance yourself from this? This should be something that most people would do. By the way, I have something to tell you, Sima Yue said. Well, Di Wui, you won't be able to go out for a while and you can't commit suicide here. So you can stay here temporarily. If I have any questions in the future, I can ask you. Di Wui looked at her and she dismissed him just like that. Even though he was treated the best among the captives. However, he didn't dare to commit suicide in the past, and he didn't want to do so now. Since she was his daughter, shouldn't he have some expectations in his heart? Little Spirit left with Di Wui, leaving the two of them alone. Wu Lingyu grabbed her hand and pulled forcefully, bringing her into his embrace. Come, tell me. What happened to you while I was unconscious? Sima Yue sat on his lap and found a comfortable position. Wu Lingyu also took the opportunity to rest his head on her shoulder. She let herself lean into his embrace and said, "A lot of things really happened when you weren't around." She told him everything that had happened after Wu Lingyu fell into a coma, including how she had comprehended her domain and her own Tao, how she had saved Shimen Feng and the others, as well as the Rubik's Cube sky and so on. Wu Lingyu didn't expect her to experience so much while she was asleep. She actually comprehended the domain and the heavenly Tao. His talent was unparalleled. He turned his face to the side and asked her, "You're amazing. You're indeed my woman. Tell me, how did you form your domain?" Sima Yue then told him about how she had stared at the folds of the Tree of Life, and how she had comprehended it. After listening to her, even though he was experienced and knowledgeable as a demon king, he was also speechless. Sima Yue didn't hear him and turned her head to ask, "What's wrong?" Wu Lingyu tapped her nose and said, "Nothing, I'm just surprised." "What are you surprised about?" Sima Yue asked as she slapped his hand away. "Do you know that there are differences between domains?" Wu Lingyu grabbed her hand and didn't let her pull it away. "Although I don't know, I guessed it," Sima Yue said. "Why is mine special?" Qingyi didn't say anything. He's not human. Although he knows about domains, he doesn't necessarily understand it clearly, Wu Lingyu said. Only those who have truly comprehended domains will understand the profoundness of it. Then what's so special about my domain? Sima Yue asked. Domains are usually divided into living and non-living ones. The difference is very simple. Living ones are like yours. There are flowers, grass, mountains, water, and even some animals. If there was no life, then it was just a piece of space, an invisible space. Most of the domains are alive. Since most of them are alive, what's so special about mine? Sima Yue asked. Don't be anxious. Let me explain it to you slowly. Wu Lingyu said, although many people have living domains, they are also divided into different levels. How are you divided into different levels? According to size? Size is indeed an important part of the division of domains, but it's not the most important basis for division. Wu Lingyu said. Then what's the most important basis for division? The stability and control of the domain. Wu Lingyu said, when supreme rankers fight, most of the time it's a clash of domains. The more stable the domain, the more likely it is to win in a clash. Sima Yue nodded. She understood. What about control? Control is how much you can weaken your opponent in a domain. Just like the space controlled by an array master, in this space, you are the master. The stronger the control, the weaker the opponent is. Wu Lingyu said. I understand, Sima Yue said. Then what's my uniqueness? First of all, your stability is very good. Wu Lingyu said. As the saying goes, after breaking you can build. When you were building it, your domain almost collapsed. If it was someone else, it would have failed immediately. But not only did it not fail, it made the domain even more stable. This might be because I was in Qingyi's body at that time, so it helped me to rebuild it. Sima Yue said. That should be part of the reason, Wu Lingyu said. But I think that's not the main reason. Say it all at once, don't breathe too loudly. Sima Yue turned around and pinched his ears with both hands, pinching and squeezing. You're the one who always interrupts me. Wu Lingyu defended his position. That's also because you always don't say it clearly at once. Sima Yue said, All right. It's all my fault. Wu Lingyu saw her glaring at him and immediately expressed his stance. It didn't matter if she was the one who kept asking him. Since he didn't say it clearly, it was his fault. Sima Yue saw that he took the initiative to admit his fault and smiled. She thought of a joke from her previous life. A wife sets rules for her husband. The rules are simple and clear. There are only 2 rules. The first rule is that the wife is always right. The second rule is that if there is a mistake, please refer to the first rule. The way they looked now was quite similar. Thinking of this, she pursed her lips and smiled. She held his face with both hands and said, "All right, hurry up and tell me. What's the main reason?" "The main reason I want to tell you is also the reason why you're different from others." When Wu Lingyu said this, the way he looked at Sima Yue changed. Seeing him like this, Sima Yue stopped teasing him and waited for him to explain. "Your domain was comprehended when you were comprehending Tao, so what? Try breathing again?" Sima Yue waved her fist. Chapter 1155. Seeing that she was really anxious, Wu Lingyu stopped teasing her and said, "Have you really never thought about what's different about yours? I only know that territories can only be obtained by those above the honorable rank. Because it's too far away, I've never tried to understand it," Sima Yue said. "Just as I said, there are many levels of domains. You comprehended the domain when you comprehended the Tao," Wu Lingyu said. "So the Tao is the most important, and the domain is secondary. However, because they comprehended it together, they fused together. In that case, your domain will become a domain with the heavenly Tao." "There's a heavenly Tao's domain?" Sima Yue raised her eyebrows, as if it sounded very powerful. From the looks of it, Wu Lingyu should also be quite powerful. "Do you know that other people's domains don't have the heavenly Tao? Even my former domain doesn't have it," Wu Lingyu said. Sima Yue's eyes lit up when she heard the last sentence. "Really?" "Yes." Wu Lingyu nodded. He didn't quite understand why she was so happy. He might have thought that it was because no one else had the way of the heavens. But what she was thinking was that she was finally better than him in one aspect. What's the use of that domain with the heavenly Tao? If you don't die and keep expanding your domain might become a world in the future. Wu Lingyu said, "But I'm not sure about its specific uses. After all, no one has really encountered it. However, there are rumors that our current world was formed by the domain of immortals. Although we can't verify it, we can still listen." "Hee, if I can really form a world in the future, then I can be considered as the creator of the world," Sima Yue said with a smile. "If you really become the creator of the world, I think the people in your world will be very wretched." Wu Lingyu said with a straight face. "Why?" "Because your smile right now is very wretched. See how I'll deal with you." Sima Yue grabbed him by the neck and screamed. "If you say I'm wretched, then I'll make you wretched first." Wu Lingyu was pressed down by her. With a wave of his hand, a couch appeared behind him and caught him. "Yu, are you that anxious to pounce on me? If you want, I'm very willing. You don't have to be in such a hurry," Wu Lingyu teased with a smile. Sima Yue was speechless. This guy was really wretched. She let go of his neck and tried to get up, but he grabbed her hand and hugged her waist. Then he flipped her over and pressed her under his body. "Since you're so impatient, I don't mind being taken advantage of by you," Wu Lingyu said with an evil smile. "Or rather, you don't want to take advantage of me, but you want to eat me? Hooligan. If you want to touch me, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to be so secretive." Wu Lingyu grabbed her hand and placed it on his chest. This was no longer just a hooligan. She rolled her eyes. Her right hand was grabbed by him, while her other hand hugged his neck. With a bit of strength, the two of them immediately flipped over. She was once again pressing him under her body. "Since you want to be pressed down by me so much and want to be eaten by me, then come at me. But it can only be like this. I'll be on top and you'll be below." She stretched out her hand and caressed his face, teasing him. Wu Lingyu saw her sudden change and let go of her hand. Lying on the bed, he looked like he was at her mercy. He closed his eyes and said, "Come." Little Roar, who was playing in the distance, saw this scene and used his short legs to cover his eyes. He roared, "See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything." The other spirit beasts heard his roar and looked over. Seeing them lying on the couch, one on top and one below, they were all stunned. "Cough cough, if you want to do that, we can pretend that we didn't see anything. You can continue. You can continue." Yaguang also learned from Little Roar and covered his eyes. But the gap between his fingers was so big that his eyeballs could be seen. "I really didn't expect that Yu actually likes to be on top. Thousand Resonance shook his head and sighed. What's so strange about that? We're so powerful and strong. It's normal to want to be on top. No one said that it has to be a guy on top. Little Seven said with a smile. That's true. But for them to be frozen like this, do they plan to continue or not? I don't know. Could it be that they're embarrassed seeing us here? That's possible. Didn't you say that you wanted to leave? Why are you still here? Of course you would be embarrassed if you're here. Little Roar said shamelessly, as if he was not a third wheel here. Once these words were said, it immediately attracted the attention of the spirit beasts. Little Roar was the most shameless. Sima Yue got up from Wu Lingyu's body. She was originally just joking, but with these fellows messing around, she did not even have the mood to tease him anymore. Seeing that Wu Lingyu was still lying on the bed, she glanced at him and said, "How long do you plan to lie here for?" "Until you agree." Wu Lingyu winked at her. "Then you can continue lying down." After she finished speaking, she walked around him and left. But when she passed by the beauty couch, with a thought, the beauty couch turned into a pile of ashes. However, Wu Lingyu did not fall to the ground. Another beauty couch appeared in an instant and caught him. Not only did he not fall to the ground, even the ashes did not touch his clothes. Sima Yue glared at him and really left. Wu Lingyu laid on the beauty couch and looked in the direction of the tree of life, deep in thought. Sima Yue went to the pill refining room and refined some pills before returning to Wu Lingyu's side. "You're back so quickly?" Wu Lingyu supported his head with one hand and patted the spot beside him with the other, indicating for Sima Yue to sit down. Sima Yue sat down and placed the pills in front of him. "1 pill a day. You have to eat it on time. Before your strength recovers, you have to stay here," Sima Yue said. Wu Lingyu smiled. When they were messing around, he knew that she took the chance to check his pulse, but he did not know that she found out so quickly. As long as he was in deep sleep, he would become very weak. He would not be able to use the spiritual energy in his body, and his strength would be greatly reduced. He kept the pills and said, "But I want to go out and accompany you." "No," Sima Yue directly rejected. "I said before my strength recovers, I have to stay here. Can you make an exception?" He held her waist with one hand. Sima Yue turned around and tapped his forehead, saying, "Be good. I'm going out now. You stay here and recuperate. If you want to go out and accompany me, then quickly recover your strength." After saying this, she really stood up and left, leaving him alone to stare at the jade bottle in a daze. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.